All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's another Tuesday night in the year of our Lord 2025. And you know what that means? It means we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, www.weLikeSportsPC.com proudly presents to you its podcast tag team champions of the world of the Collegiate King, Mike Valentine. And to my right is my buddy Cheese. And we are the 643 and out guys. And you're listening to the Sportz Truth. Cheese, before we came on the air, you were having a festival in there killing flies. Are they all gone, man?
They're gone. I had the patio open. A few got in. So, yes, they are dead. I killed 2 right before we went on the air. So, yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. Excellent. I don't want anything, flying around you or nothing like that distracting you, because I'm probably going to be doing enough of that as it is all by myself. You know what? We've already got comments. Let's put a couple of these up here. Roger Straws. Yo, let's Sportz Truth. We like it. We like it a lot. And of course, from both of these guys are our buddies, Roger and Red Hot Reds podcast. Yeah, whatever that guy said. So yeah, already got stuff going. And that's even before our walk-up music. But you know what? Truth, before we get into this too much, Cheese, let's go ahead and do that walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now.
You know I love this music. I love it.
10 seconds remaining.
I love it.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Why are people texting me now?
Time's up.
Why are people texting me now?
They're probably talking about your dance moves. All right, everybody, here we are. We're going. We are ready to go today. Myself, there is my buddy Cheese over there. You know who he is, what we're doing, because all night long for the next probably 90 or so minutes, we're going to be talking to all of you about what we love, which is the Sportz Truth. Today, in MLB, we are going to be talking about the 10th year that Major League Baseball did something over the weekend. I barely even knew they did it, and they're not doing a very good job of it. We'll talk about what that is. We'll talk about the Phillies. We're going to really mention the Cubs. And of course, right now you can't do anything without talking about the playoffs. We've only got about 2.5 weeks or so left of the Major League Baseball season. It's ramping up. And so are Cheese and I. Let's talk about college football, because we're going to do that too. We're going to look at, of course, the best victories, the worst losses, and the game that we are looking most forward to in the upcoming week. We're going to talk Bill Belichick. We're going to talk Deion Sanders. And we're going to talk about the problems that Cheese and I both have with the AP Top 25 poll. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right in to the NFL, the National Football League. And we're going to talk about Ryan Clark. We're going to talk about just a plethora of different NFL things. The Packers, what else are we going to talk about? I had to shut the music off and switch screens here. Oh, field goal. I can't wait to talk about the field goal kicking thing, because Cheese pointed out some stuff to me that I did not know about field goals and what I don't want to give too much of it away, but he educated me on his notes and questions that will be coming up here about field goal kicking and how much it has changed and evolved in the NFL. So I really can't wait to get to that. We've got another comment over here. Let's see what we got. Oh, well, I'm glad we have someone's full attention. I'll give it that. I don't know how many other people's full attention we have. We're not even 5 minutes into the show and 20 people are already with us. So, maybe we got some people's attention. We'll see how it all shakes down. Well, Ramen, let's see if you not only can tell us that you have our full attention, maybe Cheese can give us his full attention on the first flaming 5 in 5. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been with us for the last few weeks, we've done this with my buddy Cheese. He gets 5 minutes on a countdown. I'm going to ask him 5 questions. And if he can get all the 5 questions done before the timer runs out and before he bursts into flames, then we will have some more discussion over the final question. So I'm going to get this timer up here. I'll click onto it here.
It's very hard to stay in 5 minutes for me. It's very difficult.
It is. I know how difficult this is. Yeah. So for those of you who know Cheese pretty well, and I know that's a lot of you out there in the Sportz Truth world right now, but hey, you guys know how hard this is for him. He tries to keep it on cue there. So this will be interesting. I have 5 questions for him. He has no idea about any of them that are coming at him, and he just gets to go off the cuff. So here's the first one, buddy. Are you ready?
Maybe.
Let's
do it. Let's just do it.
Very anticlimactic, sir, but all right, maybe.
Band-Aid right off. Let's go.
Rip that thing off. Okay. You got those hairy arms where if I take the Band-Aid and rip it off, all the hair is going to come off too? Is that?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Oh, that looks painful. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't want to think about it anymore. Okay, so let me read you the first question, and then we'll put the timer up on the board, and we'll go from there. So the following teams won in week 1. The Philadelphia Eagles, the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. I do that every time.
San Diego Superchargers.
No singing, sir. The Raiders won. Colts won. The Commanders won. The Bengals, the Broncos, the Packers, the Bills, the Steelers. I'll go over these again with you here in a minute because there's a lot of them. The Steelers, the Cardinals, the Jaguars, the Buccaneers, 49ers, and the Rams. So of all of those teams, which team will stay undefeated the longest? Let me give you the teams again. So Philly, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Colts, Commanders, Bengals, Broncos, your Packers, Bills, Steelers, Cardinals, Jaguars, Bucks, 49ers, and Rams. Of all of those teams that won in week 1, which team will stay undefeated the longest? Let's start your timer.
It's not going to be the Jaguars. Come on. Oh, God. Right at it.
I know. This just, boom. Let's just hit you.
So I'm not going to say the Eagles. They're so good. They are. But their schedule's pretty tough. I'm going to say, oh, my gosh.
Well, it can't be Commanders because they play your Packers Thursday, right?
No, it's not going to be Commanders, but I don't think it's going to be the Packers either. I think the 2 teams I'm thinking of are the I'm going to go Buffalo Bills. I'm going to Buffalo Bills. They have an easy division. That was incredible comeback, and they're just so good. Yeah, they've got to fix run defense. The Buffalo Bills are a run defense away from being the best team in the NFL. But, Buffalo Bills.
Okay, we'll talk more about that Sunday night game here in just a little bit as the show moves on. But let's go to question number 2. We'll jump into MLB for a second and ask you this. Which free agent player is less likely to be with his current team next season? I'm going to give you 4 choices. So which one is less likely to be with their team? Alex Bregman with the Sox, Bo Bichette, Toronto Blue Jays, Pete Alonso with the New York Mets, and of course I've got to throw this one in, Kyle Tucker with the Chicago Cubs.
I was about to say Bo Bichette after I heard the first 3. I think Bo Bichette's gone. I don't think he'll be back, but then you threw the Kyle Tucker on there. The answer is Kyle Tucker. He's going to be with the Yankees, Mets, or the Dodgers. He hasn't had the season the Cubs were hoping. There was a, fracture, but even so, the Cubs want him to take a hometown discount, and he's not going to. So if he wanted to take a hometown discount, he would have signed an extension with the Astros. Why leave Houston? It was such a great. So I think Kyle Tucker, I think he's gone. I think he's going to be a Dodger. I really do.
Okay. Now, I listened to your podcast earlier. For those of you who haven't, please go over and do so after this one's finished. But you talk about this on your newest podcast there on At Football with Cheese. It is this. Did the Eagles give up too much for Tank Bigsby, knowing how depleted their running back room is?
Yes, they did. 5th and 6th round pick. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, late round picks, but picks are so valuable. There are so many 4th, 5th, 6th round picks that end up being productive players. And it's not just about the picks. Draft picks are value. You can move up. If you have 10, 11, 12 draft picks in a draft, you can move up and get a guy that may have fallen. Like it's kind of like a stock market. You have value. So to give up 5th and 6th round pick for a backup running back that, is maybe above average at best, I think the Jaguars won this trade. Good for them. Why not? And I don't think he was a great fit for Liam Cohen's offense.
All right. So question 4 out of 5 here with 1:30 seconds left. Can a team that does not make the playoffs have a manager of the year, where our Truth Top 10 at the end is going to be the top 10 managers in MLB? So this is a little preview for that, Cheese. Can a team that doesn't make the playoffs have a manager of the year?
It's almost, I don't know if it's ever happened, but it's probably not likely. I mean, the problem with manager of the year or coach of the year or whatever is they give it to the most improved team award, not the actual manager or coach. So no, they should be able to, but it's unlikely.
All right. I'll rush this one through for you because you got about 45 seconds left.
I'm not going to make it, Mike. I'm not going to make it.
You need to, because I want to talk about this one more. Will the Chicago Bears regret choosing Caleb Williams over Justin Fields?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. It's not just drafting Caleb Williams. Do you know what they could have gotten for that pick and kept Justin Fields? What they could have got, that pick was the best quarterback class in a long time. What they could have gotten for him is insane, and they are going to regret it, because I've talked about this in many videos. Caleb Williams doesn't have it up here. He doesn't have it, and it's not going to work out. They're headed for divorce probably next year, but we'll see. I made it.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
1 second left, and you got it. You're timing that pretty good here. You did that last week. You're doing it this week, buddy. I am proud of you.
I was sweating.
I want to piggyback off this last question here. Are you serious? Do you really think that Chicago is going to regret getting such a talented prospect in Caleb Williams and letting Fields go? I mean, does that mean, Cheese, that you think Fields is going to do better in New York than what Williams will do in Chicago this year?
Absolutely. Justin Fields, he wasn't bad. He's never been bad. I don't understand. I mean, okay, look, let's be honest. The reason the Bears gave up on him, the reason they traded him, is because the Carolina Panthers were so bad that the Bears picked first, because the Bears had the Panthers' first pick in a trade up for Bryce Young. So the Bears had that pick. If the Bears pick 6th or 7th in that draft, they keep Justin Fields. He's probably still their quarterback. But they thought, oh, well, Caleb Williams won a Heisman Trophy, generational talent. He's the next Pat Mahomes. He's not. He doesn't have it up here, doesn't have the mind of a quarterback. He's not accurate enough. He's not decisive. He holds on the ball too long. His attitude sucks. He's a baby when things don't go his way. He is nothing like Patrick Mahomes. Physically and athletically, he looks like Patrick Mahomes, the arm, the athleticism, but nothing like him. They actually thought he was a generational talent, and he is not. So the worst thing to ever happen to the Chicago Bears is the Carolina Panthers were so bad that the Bears, because they had their first round pick, got to pick first. And I watched Justin Fields play and I watched Caleb Williams play. It's one game, but still, Justin Fields, the biggest issue with him is he doesn't trust himself enough. He doesn't throw it on time enough. And he did a lot of that against the Steelers. That's all he has to do. He's not bad. He's never going to be great, like top 5 quarterback, but he could be a top 10 quarterback. He's good. You saw him at Ohio State. He was really, really good.
He was.
I don't think he's a bad player. And I think the Steelers should have played him last year. They didn't because he wasn't the fit in the Arthur Smith offense. Mm-hmm. But Justin Fields, he's never been bad. I just don't understand why everyone thought Caleb Williams is going to be so much better. And if Justin Fields trusts himself, if he gets rid of the ball in time, if he's more decisive, then yes, he can be a top 10 quarterback. And Caleb Williams, 6 or 7 throws where he wasn't even close to hitting the wide receiver, and he held the ball too long, scrambling around for his life. He just doesn't have it up here. He's going to be a total bust.
Wow, he's going to be a total
bust. And Jaden Daniels is the next pick, and he is incredible.
And by the way, for those of you who don't know, somebody on this platform that does a lot of NFL picks said that Jalen should be picked over Caleb. Who was that guy?
That was me. That was me. I was very high on J.J. McCarthy as well. I was very high on J.J. McCarthy going in the draft as well. Just saying.
Well, he's looked good one game into his NFL career. Well,
one half.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he looked bad one half and good one half. So he's even right now, right?
Yes,
it's kind of like golf. He's even in the clubhouse, right? So. Yeah. All right, let me throw this out here real quick and get your quick opinion on this before we jump into our college football spread offense here. So there's news from Adam Schefter here. The NFL is fining Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter $57,222 for the spitting incident on Dak Prescott on Thursday's game. The league also has said that the game that he was ejected from, which again was that game, of course, will serve as his 1-game suspension. And after talking to the Eagles and the NFL and the NFL Players Association, Jalen has decided not to appeal and focus on the Chiefs game this weekend, said his agent, Drew Rosenhaus. How do you feel about that? There's a lot to unpack there. So what about the fine and the 1-game suspension? Is that enough?
Probably. It's just dumb. Jalen Carter, what an idiot. He could have cost his team the game, almost did. Mm-hmm. If CeeDee Lamb could actually catch the ball, it would have.
Yeah, I think that was more of a game that the Cowboys lost instead of the Eagles won.
I agree. And I heard Dak Prescott after the game, because I'm that football nerd that's, on X looking at, the quarterbacks and head coaches talking and what they say after the game. I'm always doing that. I'm staying up late at night watching all that. Yeah. Yep. And he said our game plan was to double team Jalen Carter pretty much the whole game. Ask the Los Angeles Rams about Jalen Carter. If they could have blocked him, they may have beaten the Eagles in the playoffs last year in the snow, but they could not. He is that impactful. He's so good. And it changed the whole game. And Dallas actually was able to run the ball, which they don't. They had a terrible running game last year. No one expected them to have a good running game this year. So it changed the whole game and the whole game plan for the Cowboys, and they almost pulled it off.
All right. So what do you think about him saying he's going to focus on this week's game and not appeal the decision by the NFL?
Well, he wasn't suspended, so a fine for him is nothing. That it's like $5.35 for me and you. That fine. So. Okay. He doesn't care about that. So if he'd been suspended a game, he probably would have appealed.
All right. So if he'd have been suspended 2 games then, so the game that he got tossed out and then an additional game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little surprised that he's not. Actually, you know what? You made a great point right there. Yeah. He's not gonna do it because of that, right? He's not going to. There's nothing to appeal. It's a $57,000 fine, right? That's basically what it is right now. Why appeal a fine? Just pay it, go on with your life, play, and try to be on the team try to be on the field this time when your team needs you the most against the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, buddy.
Yep.
Let's go from there, and we will jump into our college football. We talked about it a little off air. Let's do a little conversating on the air for just a second. Do you want to go question 1 first or question 4 first?
Well, let's start with 1 because I have my notes in that order.
Okay, that's fine. That's why I asked. That's why we talked about it a little bit when we were exchanging stuff the last few days, and I brought up the idea. We never really decided, so I figured just ask you live on the air. It's no big deal, right? All right. So then let's start with our number 1 question. We're going to do this every single week because I think I like this. This gives us a good banter back and forth on these games. So what is, let me pull up the banner here real quick. I know it's there because I made it earlier. There it is. Boom. Week number 2. What is the best victory? The worst defeat? And what week 3 game are you looking forward or most forward to? So let's take the first one. Cheese, I'll let you go first. I went first last week. What is the best victory of the week in your opinion?
I think Baylor winning at SMU. So Baylor lost to Auburn last week. 38-24. Not a terrible loss. Not a great loss, but they had to win this game. You can't be 0-2. They're pretty much done. If they go 0-2, they have to basically win out and win the Big 12. That's the only chance of making the playoff. They go to SMU. SMU was a playoff team last year. They won, and I think it was 4 overtimes. And SMU has Kevin Jennings, incredible quarterback, but Sawyer Robertson. I think we mentioned him in our college football preview. At least I did. As a sleeper Heisman candidate. He threw 28 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions last year. He's 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions this year. He's an absolute stud. Baylor had to have this game on the road at SMU. Big win for them. Baylor.
All right. You can see I'm looking through a couple things here. So for me, not that I'm not paying attention to you, but I'm getting ready for our next segment here when we talk about Bill Belichick. I got to get that audio ready here. So for me, the best victory over the weekend was South Florida. Let's see here. Let me pull my notes back here. Put this down for a second here.
It was the most hilarious game to me.
Why was it the most hilarious game?
Because I'm a Florida Gator hater, and it was hilarious. And the memes, the videos afterwards have just been incredible. I mean, really enjoying it. I'm a Vols fan, so I really hate Florida.
Okay, I understand. So their quarterback, Byram Brown, went 23 for 36. He threw for 263 yards, and he rushed for another 66 yards, the South Florida quarterback. South Florida has beat 2 top 25 teams now, 1 in week 1 and 1 in week 2. And there are, here, I wanted to throw this out there for you and all of our fans as well. There are 8 AAC teams. Let's see, American Athletic Conference, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And 6 of those 8 teams are 2-0. And you and I both know that usually these smaller divisions get picked on in the beginning, right? They have to go to Ohio State, and they got to go to Florida, and they got to go to all these places because they're looked at as a team that those bigger teams can beat. And I think it's kind of ironic that 6 of those 8 teams are starting the season out 2-0. What do you think about South Florida?
I think it's very impressive to go in the swamp and win. Very impressive. Florida gave him a little help there at the end. Another spitting incident gave him 15 yards, but still very impressive. The game against Boise State, they forced 2 fumbles early and got the lead and just wore them down. Absolutely wore them down and end up winning big. But to go into the swamp is tough. It's really tough. And it's very impressive. And, they're a team to keep an eye on. We talked about the non-Power 4 team. One team gets in the playoff. It was Boise State last year. that was your pick. I picked Tulane, but South Florida.
We might both be wrong.
Well, exactly. And those 2 wins are huge. The committee will see those 2 wins. So we'll see what happens, as the season goes. But those are huge wins for them. So, yeah, later on, they could be the team.
Right. And I don't know about you, but I will talk about South Florida again here in just a few minutes. How about the week 2 worst loss? Excuse me. I'm over here belching and burping and all kinds of stuff on live TV. That's fantastic. So what's your week 2 worst loss, Cheese?
Sorry to say it. I know this is personal to you, but it's Arizona State. I did my college football recap. You can check it out on my channel at Football with Cheese. Cheese spelled Cheez. Yes, I will plug my channel multiple times. But
I'm sorry, you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel.
What is that YouTube channel? You have
yes, at Football with Cheese. Cheez, like cheese it. Yes, I will plug it. Yeah, okay. I know it's the first time I've ever plugged anything. You're shocked.
I know.
Yes. So here's the thing. I think Arizona State is a much better program than Mississippi State. They're a much better team. They have a lot better players, a lot better impact players, but there were multiple defensive breakdowns. You cannot give up big plays in the passing game over and over. They did it early and they did it late. And late in the game is when you should be playing more of a prevent, when you have a lead. And they absolutely blew it. Early on, maybe it was the SEC environment night, the cowbells, but Arizona State wasn't in the game at all right away. They finally got in the game in the second half. They just were not for some reason, they weren't in the game. They played at a neutral site. They're going to win the game. They probably, even at Mississippi State, they probably win this game 6 out of 7 times, but they lost this one. And, that loss is not going to look good late in the year. Let me just talk about Mississippi State real quick.
Sure.
At best, they're probably going to be a 7-win team. So they're 2-0, but then they play Alcorn State and Northern Illinois. Even if they're 4-0, this is their schedule going forward. Okay? I don't have their schedule, but they basically play 6 ranked teams going forward. And the 2 games they don't play versus ranked teams are at Arkansas and at Florida, which they could lose those. They could lose those games. Yeah. So Mississippi State's schedule is brutal. And, Arizona State's trying to get in the playoff. And, they could have a loss against a 5, 6, 7-win team. So I think Arizona State had the worst loss.
Okay. So do you think the committee will look at how they came back? And I mean, towards the end, they were leading that game. And honestly, I saw the highlights and I went back and I watched the second half because, I didn't want to watch the first half, for God's sake. But I did go back and watch the second half. Yeah. You don't think they're going to get any credit for playing so bad in the first half and then coming back? I mean, aren't we giving the Minnesota Vikings a bunch of credit, and aren't we giving the Buffalo Bills a bunch of credit in the NFL? They won. Why can't we do it in college?
Because they won their games. They got the win. Look, Arizona State, they dominated the second half. They did. They're the better team. You could tell they are the better team. But even Jordan Tyson, God, he dropped a 3rd and 12. He had it and tried to make a move, and it popped out. I don't know if you saw that, but just Arizona State did so many things wrong in this game, or they win. And the committee will look back and see the score. No, this is early in the season. I don't think the committee will give them credit for that.
Okay. So I said the worst loss was the Oklahoma State because they lost 69-3 to Oregon. Zach Flores, who was the Oklahoma State quarterback, had 7 completions in the entire game for 67 yards. And their leading rusher, Hicks, had 63 yards for the entire game. And now they've put themselves in this boat with everybody else, right? So 1-1. Baylor, ASU, Colorado, West Virginia, Kansas. All of those are Big 12 teams, and all of those Big 12 teams are 1-1. And when you get just jack stomped 69-3, I think you would have to say that Oklahoma State is the lowest of all of those 1-1 teams right now.
Mike Gundy is not going to survive this.
Uh-oh. Something happened to Cheese. He went off the air with us here. So, he was talking about the head coach there not surviving. Red Hot Reds there. Thank you for the best moral victory. The Browns. We'll get to the NFL here shortly. We will. I promise you. And while Cheese is right there, hang on. Oh, what happened? Okay, there we go. There he is. He's back with us. That wasn't too long, buddy. What? Did you hit the wrong button over there or what?
It just knocked me out. I don't know what happened, but
I don't know what happened either. But I will tell you that we gained some followers while you were gone. So I might have to do that to you every once in a while. If we start losing people, I'll just click the button and be like, oh well, Cheese disappeared again.
I miss him. He's so handsome. No, but Mike Gundy, I don't think he's going to survive this. He survived last year. A lot of Oklahoma State fans wanted him gone. He did a lot of good things for Oklahoma State for many years. He replaced, I think, Les Miles. Years ago, probably in 20 years or something like that. But they fell off bad last year, and that's embarrassing. Basically, you lose 69-3, you're Long Island or McNeese State. It doesn't matter how good you are. Oregon's a top 10 team. Yes, they're very good, but still, even losing 69-24 is bad. 69-3, it's embarrassing. Oklahoma State's not in a good situation.
Yeah, I don't think Northwestern are lose that bad to them, but I did find it funny that Fox is doing, the big noon Saturday for this game, and I'm like, really for Northwestern and Oregon? That's okay.
Are they really?
Yes, they really are. They're doing the big noon Saturday for the Northwestern Oregon game. So they will be in Eugene, Oregon. On Saturday. So speaking of the game, what game are you most looking forward to in week 3 of the college football season?
Well, the noon game, I'm going to probably watch Clemson, Georgia Tech instead, because that's a much more important game.
Yes.
And it'll be much closer. But what game I'm looking forward to, I don't even look at back to my notes, but it's Georgia, Tennessee. There's no doubt about it. This game last year at Georgia won. It didn't matter. Both made the playoff. But this year, the loser could be out. I really think Tennessee needs to win this game.
I was going to say, don't you think if Tennessee loses, they're probably going to be out and Georgia has a shot at, even if they do lose, they're still going to make it? Tennessee has the easiest schedule probably in the SEC. SEC schedule of any team, if you look at them. Although Georgia's is not too much harder. Both those teams somehow lucked out. But Tennessee, it's at home. It's in Knoxville. They're at Florida, at Alabama. So Tennessee needs to win this game. And if they do, they're in great shape. They're playing really well. Joey Aguilar, quarterbacks, playing well. They've run the ball outstanding, even though they lost Dylan Sampson, who looked really good for the Browns. Right.
But
he did too.
I also, we have to mention Florida at LSU. Oh, wait, were you going to mention that game?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Oh, okay. Billy Napier needs this so bad. They have to go in. Somehow Florida has to go into LSU. Probably not, but they have to go in and win. Am I looking forward to it as much as Georgia, Tennessee? No. But Florida needs something. After the loss to South Florida, they have to save their season. This is it. They have to beat LSU. And by the way, Texas A&M's playing Notre Dame. So why did Texas A&M schedule this? Why would they schedule Notre Dame considering their schedule, their SEC schedule? Because it's not easy. Do you want to hear their schedule?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so they don't play Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, or Alabama. That's great. But their last 5 games are at LSU, at Missouri, versus South Carolina home, Samford at home, Samford, S-A-M, not S-T-A-N, although I almost rather play Samford than the one in California. They're going to be terrible. And then they finish at Texas. So at LSU, at Missouri, South Carolina, and Texas are 4 of their last 5 games. So it's brutal at the end. So why would you schedule on the road at Notre Dame. I don't understand that. They don't need to schedule that. What do you think?
I mean, does it go back to the whole thing that we were talking about last week, where if you schedule it early enough, and even if something tragic does happen, you can overcome it?
With the SEC schedule, maybe, but they're going to have to. Missouri's ranked. LSU is top 5 team. Texas top 10 team. So they're going to have to win probably 2 of those at least. So,
yeah. And as you're talking about these ranked teams, we're going to do so the next one we're going to do after I talk about the game that I'm looking most forward to. We're going to talk about Bill Belichick here in a second. Then we're going to get into some of the problems, at least that I have with the AP Top 25 this week. So we'll do both of those here in just a second. You mentioned a lot of games. I think you mentioned all of the ranked games that are happening this week, and there's like 4 of them, I believe. But I'm going to give you a different game. And I said I was going to talk about this team one more time before this segment was over, and here it is. I want to see if South Florida can go into Miami and beat them. I mean, I'm not sure if they can or not, but it's intriguing to me. And, so the title is, the game that I'm most looking forward to. I want to see if South Florida can beat 3 top 25 teams in 3 consecutive weeks. And then I want to see what the AP poll looks like with South Florida.
That'd be incredible. That would be the story of the year so far. It's on the CW network because before the season, this wasn't supposed to be a big game. They're going to get the best ratings they've ever had for a football game.
Probably so. Yeah.
But I think it's on at like 4:30. It's a random time, 4:30 Eastern. But yeah, I don't think they're going to win. But
wow, Cena. We have got all these R's, right?
I don't think
got Roger started us off, then the Red Hot Reds podcast, and now we've got 2 things from Ramen. Billy, he's the only one that doesn't start with an R. So we got all of this now. I'm thinking she's more referring to me than she is, than Ramen is to you here, because I was the guy who I was just going to kind of ignore this and just let it go, right? But I tell you. This means that we've got some really educated people.
Do you remember last show? You remember the show from last week?
Yes. Well, mine like a steel trap sometimes, right? So I was the guy who said that I really thought that Duke was gonna beat Illinois last week. And to be honest, I did. I was maybe it was more hoping that they were going to do it than actually doing it, but they stuck with them for the first half, and then second half of that game was just complete annihilation by Illinois. And I'll give Illinois their due. They impressed me. I did not think that they were going to be this good. I really thought they were overranked and overhyped, and they proved me wrong last week. So I'll give them their due.
Well, what's interesting about that game is Illinois didn't run the ball well at all, which is a little surprising. But Luke Altmaier played, he had a great game passing. But you'd think, Illinois got a really good offensive line. That's one of the reasons why people think they're, like, I picked them in the playoff, but they didn't run the ball well. So you got to give Duke credit there. It wasn't, they had so many more yards, but very impressive win for Illinois. Road win, you have to win that. And their schedule's favorable, so they have a really good shot. And, I looked at after the game, I looked at it, and Illinois just have more talent. They have more pro talent, for the draft. They just do. This is definitely one of the best Illinois teams that I can ever remember.
All right. Yeah. So again, 3-0 against 3 top 25 teams would be almost as good as some crazy guy on this show thinking that Duke was going to beat Illinois. So we'll see which
you
one.
had Duke winning the national title, right? I think you did. Was that you?
No. No, I wasn't. I wasn't that bad.
Okay.
But
I know. I'm just teasing you.
No, it's all right. You're allowed.
No one would ever pick Duke. I mean, it's not basketball. Basketball, yes. Not football.
I mean, they're becoming a bigger football team, but they're just not there yet. So give them some time, right? Give them some time.
They'll never be there. Come on. It's a basketball school.
It is a basketball school.
It's definitely a basketball school.
All right. So I want to play the, it's just a few seconds, 13 seconds actually, of Bill Belichick here from his post-game press conference on Saturday. This was the very first question he was asked. It had nothing to do with his team. It had nothing to do with the win. It had to do everything with Bill Belichick. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, well, no, it's clear that I'm not welcome there around their facility, and so they're not welcome in ours. Pretty simple. I'll be here on the.
All right. He said, so the reporter asked him, you know, why aren't you letting the Patriots come to your school and scout your players? And his response was, it's clear I'm not welcome there at their facility, so they're not welcome at ours. We got some questions here. Neither one of us are big Bill Belichick fans, so I thought this was. Yeah, we'll throw this up here real quick from my guys back in Big Ten country, right? So they're on this bandwagon now.
I picked them in the playoff, so I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to say it's a new team in the playoff. I think a lot of us get tired of the same, 10, 12 teams that are always in the top 10, always in the top 15. This is some new
Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State. Oh yeah, same ones.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with it. I just didn't think they were going to be that good, to be really honest with you. And like I said, I'll tell them they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong. So why would you bring attention to the Patriots if you're Bill Belichick, if you hate them so much?
He's bitter. He obviously wanted to still coach there, and they forced him out. I mean, there's probably more to it. And I don't know if you know this, but Bill Belichick last year interviewed for the Falcons job and went to Raheem Morris. And they talked to Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, and he told them, this has been reported from credible sources, not just some random person, like credible. And I can't remember who it was, if it was Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissari, or whoever, but he told the Falcons, you can't trust him. You cannot trust him. Do not hire him. And I think this is where this comes from. And he wanted to keep coaching there. He wanted to coach till he couldn't anymore. But obviously there's, some tension between the team.
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little, yeah. So he's being, bitter.
Yeah. So my next question for you is, wouldn't you phrase it as if you're welcoming them to your facility, even if you're not welcome to theirs? Wouldn't you phrase it as, I know you don't like me, but I'm not going to be that guy to you like you are being to me?
I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares. This is all about getting back at the Patriots for whatever reason, we just discussed. So it's very petty. It's immature, but he likes immature things. He has to pick up his girlfriend from band practice at her 8th grade,
right.
At 8th grade every day. So, that's Bill Belichick.
At least it's Bill Belichick right now, anyway. I mean, I don't know if that was the Bill Belichick of old, but that's the Bill Belichick of right now, at least.
Yeah,
so
he was in his late 40s when his girlfriend was born. But anyway.
Right? Okay.
He was fired by the Browns. He was fired by the Cleveland Browns before she was born after that. Let's put it that way.
All right, let me give you something I don't do very often, which is a true or false question, because usually when you just go true or false, then there's nowhere to jump off from there, right? But I'm actually going to give you a true or false question here, and I guarantee you there'll be somewhere to jump off of it once you answer true or false. So true or false, Chiefs? Bill is allowing his personal vendetta with the Patriots to hurt his current players.
It's true. There are 32 teams, but that's one team that's not having access to players that could be drafted. So he's letting his personal feelings get in the way, and it could hurt his players being drafted. Robert Kraft or, Elliot Wolf, who runs the front office, they could just say, we're just not going to scout North Carolina players. We're not have access. We can't talk to them. We can't meet them, see what kind of person they are. We're done. We're going to move on. There's 100 universities. So true.
Yeah. And, if I'm a parent of one of those kids and my school that I sent my son to is not being looked at by an NFL team, I don't care which NFL team it is. I don't even care if it's the Chicago Bears, right? If there's a team that I'm restricting them from looking at, then as a parent, I'm pretty upset with that coach. And I don't think there's any way in the world that coach can sell me on the fact that, hey, this is what's best for your son. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. So he is letting that personal vendetta get in the way of players' lives. And this is one of the reasons why we don't like him. I mean, I don't like the whole cheating aspect of him. There's a lot of things that I don't like about Bill Belichick, despite what his record is. And it's a good record. I'm not going to take that away from him. But it's a good record because of some of the questionable decision-making that he's done in his career too. So, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because, neither one of us like this guy, but I just wanted to point out to everybody listening, for those of you who are these big Bill Belichick people, and there are a lot of you out there, he's one of the greatest coaches, and he was the reason the Patriots did it. It wasn't Brady, it was Belichick, and all this kind of stuff. I think you need to peel back the onion a little bit and look at all the layers, not just the layer that has his wins and losses.
I agree. And North Carolina is 70 new players that they're not going to be good this year. It's going to be a mess. And 5 years, $50 million. That's what they're paying him. If it doesn't get better, they're stuck with that. So
right,
it could be
even when they let him go later this year.
Yeah,
which I'll predict that now. I said that a few weeks ago too. I don't think he'll make the entire season. Now his girlfriend might still be over top of the flag corps when it's all said and done, but he is not going to be the coach of the team. I had one more jab in there. All right, let's move along, sir. I have some real problems with the AP Top 25. Let me give you my first problem, and then you can comment on this. And then, once I've got 3 of them, and then I'll open the floor up to you and see if you have any other problems with the AP Top 25. The first one is, how in the world is Clemson number 12?
Yeah. The 3 problems you have are the same 3 I have. I looked at the top 25. I don't really have any other huge problems with it, but Clemson's 12 because they're Clemson. They were hyped, and they did technically win. Their only loss is to the number 3 team, even LSU, even though they were at home. It's because they're Clemson. Simple.
But they really didn't even they didn't look good in that game. They didn't look good in the game that they won.
They were down 16-3 at halftime to Troy. No,
yeah,
they played one good half the whole year. They played good in the second half against Troy but it's Troy. I agree with you. Way too high, but they did technically win. And if you win in college football, even if you should blow a team out, you typically get punished at most 1 or 2 slots. You're not going to get knocked down. So that's why. And it's Clemson. It's a big name.
Okay. So my second one is, why is Utah only 20? And so I'm doing this in the order so my third biggest gripe is Clemson. Now my second one's Utah.
Yep.
They have been dominant, and yet they've only moved up, I believe, 5 spots in the AP poll from when it was the preseason poll till now. How is that possible?
Because they weren't ranked high to begin with, but Devon Dampier has been incredible. Oh my God. He's a monster. He's transferred from New Mexico. That was big for Utah. They wanted to run this RPO, run pass option offense. That's what they love to run. They need a quarterback to do it. It's just because they weren't hyped to begin with. But they should be much higher.
All right, I just want to make sure I'm not crazy here. And here's my last
You're actually
one.
not this time.
Okay, well, thanks for saying this time at the end of the sentence. I appreciate
You're
that. What about ASU? How in the world is ASU out of the top 25, yet Alabama is ranked 19th?
Same thing with Clemson. It's Alabama. They give the Alabama benefit of the doubt. Oh, Alabama, they lost, but they're still Alabama. So yeah, they're fine. And Arizona State until last year wasn't like a big name, and that's what they say. Oh, well, Arizona loses. Well, they probably didn't. A lot of voters probably didn't watch the game and saw that they completely dominated that second half. And you think, oh, it's Arizona State. Yeah, they overachieved last year or something like that. They didn't overachieve last year. They made the playoff. They almost beat a really good team in the playoff. So it's just natural bias from teams.
Yeah.
Alabama should not be ranked.
Yeah, and those are the same people who didn't watch the Clemson game either and didn't realize how terrible they looked and kept them at number 12, right?
They probably just saw the final score. I'm like, oh, look, they won.
Yeah, so it not that I watch every single college football game, because obviously I don't have time to do that, but I at least watch the highlights. Well, do you?
No, almost. I try.
Almost, and then you watch all the NFL games too.
They have their 30 minute recaps of every game. We can just quickly watch every play. I watch most NFL games. I know it's sad.
I believe it should be obsession. Football. I think you should put the word obsession in there. So
I rewatch some games. I rewatch, but real quick, the Big 12 is not getting. I think this whole segment we're talking about, the Big 12 is not getting enough credit, and they're better this year than they've been. This is a much better Big 12 this year than last year, and that is an issue too.
So do you think it's because of the whole, so the Big 10 went out and got all these teams, and now the Big 10 is like the Big 25 almost, right? I mean, I know it's not that many teams, but it sure does seem that way. The SEC is never going to get knocked down because they're the SEC, right? So, those two are 1 and 2, and then everybody else is almost like sisters of the poor, right? And we're really going to talk about this with the fourth gripe that I've got here with the AP Top 25. Wait till we get to that one, right? So, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it right now. So, What is the bias against South Florida? How can you beat two top 25 teams and barely scratch the surface of the top 25? I think they're 18, 16?
I'm not sure. I'm pulling it up now. So they are 18. They are 18. Yeah, 18. Actually, in the coaches poll, they're 23.
I know. How in the world is that? I mean, so
they're behind Michigan in the coaches poll. Michigan looks like crap against Oklahoma. Like
that is nuts. So here's my gripe, right? And I'm trying not to get too vocal about it here because I don't want to bust this microphone in front of me, right? Because I'm going to start screaming here. This makes me nuts. It really does.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about Illinois, right? So Illinois is a new team that's in this, and it brings new blood. It brings fresh blood. It brings a different set of eyes to the game of college football. And man, South Florida should be doing the same thing for the AAC. So you beat two top 20. You know what? I'm going to give you this example. I don't know how it is in Texas where you're at right now, but here in Arizona, all right, and I'm not bragging about the fact that I live in Arizona, but so here in Arizona, we have these they're called HOAs, right? You have this big block of homes inside of like a caged in community, and we call them the HOA Nazis, right? They come around and they say, "Oh no, you can't park in the street," or you have a 2-car garage and you have to put both your cars in the garage and everything else, right? Well, I think the AP poll is kind of like the HOAs of the AP, and this is what I mean by this. They're basically saying, "All right, man, you're really not good enough to be in here in our big subdivision where all these nice, pretty houses are, and they're all nice and gated, and they've got big garages, and some of them even have enough to where they've got 3-car garages, or some of them have big side gates where you can park your RV and all of that. South Florida, you are not even anywhere near that. You park your jalopy inside the garage so we don't have to look at it, right? And you should just be happy with the fact that we even give you the passcode to get into this place, right? Now shut up, go over there and park your car in front of your rundown house on the corner and leave the rest of us alone. Don't you kind of feel like that's the way the AP Top 25 poll people are doing, like Utah and ASU and South Florida and some of these other teams?
Yes. That was a great metaphor. I have nothing to add. I think that's a good metaphor. But yeah, South Florida, I mean, the coach should use that. They should be mad and use it when they play Miami. And even if they lose to Miami and it's a 1-score game, they should move up in the polls. If they lose like 34-32 to Miami, they should go from 18 to like 11 or 12. Because
last week
ranked 5th, they should still move up. But if they do lose a close game, a real close game, they'll probably be 25th or just get votes. Probably.
Right. Well, last week ASU won the game and they fell 2 spots.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love college football. I like it better than the NFL personally, but the top 25 poll right now is like when I saw it and it first came out, I thought it was a misprint.
There's some bias out there for sure.
All right, let's do our last question here in the college football spread offense. Now let's all be honest here. When I shared all these things with Cheese earlier in the week, and I was like, okay, here are the topics that I'd like to talk about, and I got a response back, something like, really? You want to talk about Colorado? Really? Yes.
yes,
Cheese. I want to talk about Colorado. And it's not necessarily the team. I want to talk about this concept that's going on with this team. So you've got the transfer versus the freshman versus the guy who stayed. Maybe some of you don't know, so let me set up this context for everyone, okay? So you've got one guy at Colorado. He knew that he was not going to dethrone Sanders' son and become the quarterback of the team, but he stayed. And he could have gone into the transfer portal this offseason, but he didn't. He stayed. Then you've got a guy who did come into the transfer portal from Liberty, a pretty good quarterback, not a great quarterback, but a pretty good quarterback. And Deion got him to transfer over. So you've got the guy who stayed, the transfer, and now you've got a freshman who is supposed to be like the next coming of Jesus in Colorado, right? He's supposed to be this fantastic quarterback.
Yeah.
And now you've got Deion, who is in a bind. Who do I choose? The freshman, the guy who stayed, or do I choose the transfer? So that's kind of the setup for these next few questions that we're going to discuss with. So this past game when they played, I believe it was Delaware, he gave each quarterback 2 series, he being Deion Sanders, and he announced it to the team, I guess, the night before and said, hey, I'm going to give each one of you guys 2 series. Let's see what happens here. So, Cheese, the first question is, did you like that Deion gave each quarterback 2 series?
I did, actually. If and only if he did it to see who's the best and to give them all experience and going forward, who's my guy. Because college football doesn't have a preseason like the NFL does. So if he did it to be fair, let's get everyone involved. No, it's about winning games. If Colorado has a 3-9 season, they don't get a higher draft pick. College football, you have to win every year. There's no incentive for losing. If he did it to see who's the best going forward, then yes. If he did just to be fair, then I don't like it. You have to put the best player out there.
Okay. And I don't know that you don't have a preseason. I mean, college football has more practices and everything else than what the NFL does because of all the NFL rules, how they can't be in pads, and God forbid they may have a hangnail or something at the end of a practice. So you can't do anything like that anymore, like it used to be in the older days. But I would say, isn't that what practice is for? And shouldn't he have known before the start of the season who he was going to start? Why did he wait till game number 2 to do this? And it just makes me question his motivation behind it. And I think you're questioning it a little because you even put on there if this is the reason why he did it. And I'm not sure if it's the reason why he did it or not.
You should know there's at least 2 of them should be better than the third. There's no way all 3 are like equal.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know at some point who the guy is, but I don't mind playing all 3 to see that if they're pretty close. But at some point he needs to settle on a guy.
Okay, so each one got to play. Let me give you some stats for each one. So Lewis went 2 of 4. He's the freshman. He went 2 of 4 for 8 yards. He's got to be my third string quarterback now. Salter, who is the dual guy that transferred in from Liberty, he went 13 of 16, 102 yards, but he was also sacked 3 times, and he had a QBR rating of 134.8. Now, Staub, S-T-A-U-B, I believe it's pronounced Staub, he went 7 of 10, 157 yards. He was only sacked once, and you ready? His QBR rating was 267.9. So he had, before this game, he had the guy Salter was the number 1 guy, and then he had Lewis as the number 2 guy who went 2 for 4, and then he actually had Staub as the number 3 guy. So what's happened now is your number 3 guy outperformed your number 1 and 2 guy, and everybody's going, all right, Dion, what are you going to do this week? And Dion has already said, I know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to tell you. I don't have a problem with that. But this was the worst case scenario, wasn't it? The guy that Dion said was number 3 a week ago almost has to be number 1 this week, right?
I mean, those numbers sound like, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know for sure. There could have been other things the quarterbacks did well, the other quarterbacks. Taking sacks is never good, but that was the Shadur Sanders go-to. But I don't mind if he keeps playing the other guys. It sounds like all 3 of them bring something to the table. I'll just say this. When in doubt, play the guy that gives the best chance next year moving forward, not just this year. If you think someone has more upside, if you have them like rated the same, play the younger guy or the guy that has more upside. So that's what I would do. But you also at the same time should play the best player for this season. But if you have a transfer or a guy that's been there and you have him neck and neck with like a freshman, then play the freshman.
But didn't you just talk out both sides of your mouth by saying you play the guy who gives you the best chance to win now, and then you said no, you play the guy who's the freshman who's going to give you the best chance to win later?
Okay, so so basically what I'm saying is you play the guy who gives you the best chance to win now. But if it's even or very close, even if one guy's slightly better than the other, play the young guy. Because it's not just about one season. It's about the next 3 seasons too. So yeah, if the older guy is the best chance now, play him. If it's even, play the young guy.
Okay. So one of the things that you have not talked about, and this is my next question for you, we'll do this question, one more, and then we're going to jump into our MLB talk here. You didn't say a word about the guy who stayed. Do you reward that? Do you reward the kid who has been there the entire time, who sat behind your son knowing that he wasn't going to get a start, the guy who decided not to transfer out and he stuck around with your team? Do you reward that at all?
No, it's about winning.
Wow.
It's a shame.
You don't, no.
You play the best player. Nope. You owe it to the fans, the university, to win games. So you have to play the best player. If he's not the best quarterback, no, he should not be playing. The
All right,
other
so let me go
quarterbacks
back to your other scenario where they're all close. So which one wins out? If let's say they're all really close in Dion's eyes, which is what I think is happening right now, to be very honest with you. So he's got a freshman, and then he's got a guy who transfers that gives him good upside, and he's got a guy who was committed and stayed. Who do you give the advantage to if they're all three pretty much the same?
freshman. Play the freshman. He's your guy going forward. Give him experience. Play the freshman. It's the way. It's a shame, but it's the way college football is now. Play the young guy.
And that's what you would do if you were the coach.
Absolutely, because I want to keep my job going forward.
Wow. So let me give you a quote from Dion. He said, the decision is going to not just based on what I see in the game. It'll be practice and preparation. So how much do you give practice and preparation and not actual game time?
Well, obviously, if someone's not putting in the work in practice, you can't just reward that. I don't know the situation. I don't know if one quarterback's putting in more time than the other, watching film or whatever. But obviously, it's not good if someone's not putting in the time. So if it's all three are rated the same and one of the three is putting in way more time in the film and in practice, then yeah, you go with that guy. That is important as well.
Okay. But you didn't actually answer the question, which
I don't want to answer the question, Mike.
But that's the whole reason I ask it, right? You're dodging around this pretty good, buddy.
Like I said, I wish I had watched Colorado now. We do this segment. I have not watched either game, so I'm not going to pretend I know, so much about them. I watched them a ton last year. I've watched like 9 of their games last year, but so far I have not watched them. But when in doubt, go with the young guy.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Why did you watch him so much last year, but you're not watching him this year? And do you think the rest of college football fandom is the same way you are?
Because Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are not on their team. And they're also not a focus. They were a big focus last year. They were on games. They were ranked. They're not a focus right now. And there's just other games opposite them that I need to watch, especially their teams I need to watch that have more pro prospects. And you know me, I watch games. I will watch a game if someone has a prospect I haven't seen, and I'll just take notes for the NFL draft. And I watch so much Colorado. I want to watch Travis Hunter every snap. I want to see him on offense and defense. Shedeur Sanders, I want to break him down. And so I watched a ton of Colorado last year, and they just don't have a player like either one of those this year.
So then 1 or 2 players on a college football team can really bring that many more eyes to a program.
I watched Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. I watched Fresno State every time they were on ESPN2 at 10 at night when Derek Carr and Devontae Adams were on the team. So, yes, absolutely. I will watch if they have some kind of big-time prospect.
All right. Interesting stuff. Let's jump into our MLB 4-pitch talk.
All right.
And who they inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. I'm sure we're going to have some fun with that. We're going to look at the Phillies because they've lost some players here. And then I want to look at this. And I know this is probably not something that any other talk show is going to talk about, but that's kind of what I like about the Sportz Truth is we bring some things onto these airwaves that it's the same stuff over and over and over again. That's all regurgitated by all of these sports talk things. I don't like to do that. I like to bring on some different stuff. So let's do it right now. And that's this. This is the 10th year that MLB has raised funds and awareness for childhood cancer. Now, I saw some videos, man, they did a great job. They brought some kids out on the fields and they did a lot of really good things for these kids. But did you know that MLB has been doing this for 10 years? Because I love Major League Baseball. I watch Major League Baseball like you watch college and NFL football. Yet, I knew they had some programs and stuff for it, but I didn't know this was the 10th year that they've done this. Did you have any idea?
I had no clue.
So doesn't that mean they're not doing it well?
They need to do a better job of advertising it for sure. I had no clue. I'd seen some things here and there, but I didn't know that this was a 10-year thing they've been pushing. So yeah, they need to do a much better job. But Ron Manfred is the commissioner, and he's just awful in just about every way.
Yeah, I mean, they had some really neat stuff they did over the weekend. By the way, we are number 4. We are now following, or people following us. We have over 7,250 as far as followers on our X account. That is over at the 643 and Out Pod, which, by the way, it's probably going to change in this upcoming week. So be aware of that. It's coming. I told you we were going to announce some stuff. I'm not quite ready to do it right now. I'll probably throw some hints. And we have been throwing some hints out on our posts and things like that. Some of you, I'm sure, have caught. But our buddies at Sons of Star podcast, by the way, number 1 right now on everything that we're doing. So let's give them a good shout out. And then, we're right there in the top 5. We're at number 4, sir. So I'll take number 4 with Sons of Star being number 1 with all those crazy Cowboy fans. So there was a lot of great ceremonies. Did you get the chance to see anything that happened over the weekend with the kids with the cancer and all of that?
I did not. I was watching football the entire weekend.
I mean, I watched the Reds and the Mets game. I'm a big Reds guy, and I know that you're a Braves and Cubs guy. The Braves are pretty much falling out of everything, and if my Reds don't watch it, they're going to fall out of it too. But I saw and I loved it. So they put 6 kids at home plate, and then they started them and they let them go all the way around the bases like they got a home run, right? They let them circle the pillows, right? So as they were doing that, the Reds lined up down the first base line for them. Mr. Redleg was out at second base as well. And, they were like, oh, go to Mr. Redleg. And then you look over at third base. And it was a really nice gesture to see. The Mets came out of the dugout and they were lined up from third base to home plate. And I really thought it was a neat gesture. Both those teams are getting ready to play each other, but right before they do so, they put away their differences and they put away the fact that one of them has to win and one of them has to lose to give these 6 kids an experience that they'll never forget. So there was a lot of those kinds of celebrations and stuff over the weekend. I thought a lot of Major League Baseball teams did a good job of it, but Major League Baseball as a whole did not. And I'd love, I'm sure Rob Manfred's listening to us right now, and I'm sure that I'd love to look at him in the face and say, I'm going to challenge you to do a better job. Now, I know there's college football and there was NFL that week, and there was a lot of attention that didn't get focused on baseball. And maybe that's not the right week to do the childhood cancer thing. But I think you could do a lot better, Major League Baseball. How about you, Chiefs?
Absolutely. Rob Manfred, he's terrible. He's feckless. He's just awful. I don't know who the commissioner of the hockey is, but I know NBA is a horrible commissioner as well, but he's still the worst commissioner of the 4 major sports. When I saw your notes, I knew nothing about this. I had to look it up. I had to Google it because I did not know anything about this. So, they need to market this better.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they're pushing the poor little cancer kids off to the side, right? I mean, I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but their marketing plan needs to improve here for this weekend. I think it could be something that could be a really good thing. And instead, it was dominated by a Karen in Philadelphia. So,
I was. I wasn't going to bring that up, but anyway, let's not talk about that.
Say, as we kind of close
negative. That's very negative.
Well, it's very negative, but I tell you what, again, Harrison Bader and the Florida Marlins and the Philadelphia Phillies all came together and really gave that kid a lot. They gave him a grab bag at the end. Harrison Bader saw it, said, hey, I want to talk to that kid. They brought him down to the clubhouse. And again, you got to remember that this was a game at Florida. So it was the visiting clubhouse. Right. And a lot of times the home team doesn't let fans go down to the visiting clubhouse very much. So it was a big deal. And it's done really well by not only the Phillies and Harrison Bader, but also the Florida Marlins.
And you saw the video, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yes.
One thing I liked about it was, once he's confronted the father, do you see what he did? He immediately put his arms around his kid and protected him, even though it was like a Karen, but he immediately, his parental instincts was to, don't do this. This is my kid. No, I just gave the ball to my kid. He was protecting his kid. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, she's horrible, disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
And was fired from her job, and I guess
was she?
Hiding.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she did get fired from her job.
Not surprised, and she deserves to be fired. That's disgusting what she did.
Yeah. So yeah, bunch of crazy stuff happened over the weekend in Major League Baseball. We're going to talk more about it here. Let's go to the Chicago Cubs, your team, sir. Over the weekend, they inducted Derek Lee and Sammy Sosa into the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame. Pretty much every team has a Hall of Fame. Most of the time, it's usually right there at the stadium somewhere or relatively close to the stadium to where those fans of that team can tour everything. Do you have a problem with Sammy Sosa, the cheater that he is and was, being inducted into the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame?
I knew it was coming. He apologized. It took years. He was not allowed in the stadium. I don't know if you know this. He was not allowed to come to Cubs games for years. And they just said, oh, apologize. But the problem with that was he didn't apologize for anything. He apologized, but he didn't say what he apologized for. He didn't admit to doing anything. So I did have a problem with that. No, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he was such a big part of the Cubs in the 90s. It was huge. When I was a kid, I was such a big Sosa fan. He was never my favorite player. I was a Mark Grace guy. I was a huge Mark Grace guy. But still, his home run stuff, the McGuire thing, baseball ratings and popularity went up because of them. Obviously, now it's tainted, but I knew it was coming. I just wish Sosa had admitted to everything. I just wish they all would. And so, yeah, I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but once he apologized, that it was going to happen.
So let me do a comparison here, right? Sammy Sosa is your cheater. Pete Rose is my cheater, right? Because he's the Reds guy. So when when Pete Rose is inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Reds Hall of Fame, do you as a fan for another team have a problem with that? I'm going to talk to you in a second about my stuff with your Cubs, but I wanted to look at it from both perspectives, right? Because you are a Cubs fan, and Sammy got inducted. I'm the Reds guy, and Pete Rose has been inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. I think that Pete Rose, much like what you said, he was such an intricate part of that team. Now, I get it if he never gets inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. That's another level. But I don't mind him being inducted into the team's Hall of Fame.
No, I don't mind either. Pete Rose absolutely should be in the Reds Hall of Fame. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, period. But, Team Hall of Fame, that's up to the team. Team can do whatever it wants. It's different, obviously, if it's the regular Hall of Fame.
Will Sammy Sosa ever get into the National Baseball Hall of Fame?
No, he will not.
All right. What about Derek Lee? How much did Derek Lee mean to the Chicago Cubs?
He was so big for the Cubs in the 2000s. He was, he was. They came over in a trade with the Marlins. They basically got him for next to nothing, and his 2005 season was insane. He finished third in the MVP voting. Here's the problem with Derek Lee and why he'll never get in the Baseball Hall of Fame is he didn't have 7 or 8 great seasons. He had one unbelievable season, another 3 or 4 pretty good seasons, but he needed 7 or 8 33, 35 home run seasons. He had 3 or 4. And he finished with a career of 331 homers. If he finishes with, 487 homers maybe, but he in his prime he was so good, but before his prime and after, not so much. So, and he only made 2 All-Stars. I know first base is so tough to make All-Star games. There's so many good hitting first basemen, but I think Derek Lee, I love him to death. He just doesn't have the numbers to be MLB Hall of Famer.
And I want to say, sir, I have missed you so much because I haven't got to say South Carolina Splat for quite some time. So thank you for coming back with us and commenting on us here. Mark McGwire ends in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. So I assume what he means is, yes, Mark McGwire should be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, but he shouldn't be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame as well. Now, I will admit to the fact that I went to a spring training game once for the Padres because Mark McGwire was their hitting coach. And I bought tickets right behind the dugout. And the sole purpose was to heckle Mark McGwire for the entire 9 innings of that game. And I will tell you that I did a really good job of it. And people were laughing at me. And Mark McGwire never turned around and made eye contact with me whatsoever. But he could hear every word I was saying.
I have a Barry Bonds story. I was in Wrigley, sitting in the bleachers in left field, and Barry Bonds, they were playing the Giants. And obviously we know what was going on with Barry Bonds at the time.
Sure.
He's been accused of all that. And, there were a lot of drunk Cubs fans, and they were saying a lot of things. And, he made some good defensive plays out there and left. But it was really fun in the bleachers. But there were a few Cubs fans that said things that they shouldn't have said. And it's not Barry Bonds' mom's fault that he did what he did. And they were saying things about his mom. I thought was awful. So it's tough for a player sometimes. Saying things, attacking the wrong person, attacking his mom was bad. But wow, it opened me up. It's like no matter what people do, no matter like players struggling, people are going to get drunk and heckle you. And there are a few things that I felt bad for Bonds because that should not be said.
I'm not sure if I'm ever going to feel bad for Barry Bonds, but
I'll feel bad for his mom.
Okay, I'll feel bad for his mom a little.
For his mom. Okay. Bobby Bonds, Mrs. Bobby Bonds. Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Splat there is saying he had a typo. He's in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, but he disagrees with him being in the National League, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, which, of course, yes, he has no business, no place even being able to go down the hallway of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So let's move on to the Phillies for a moment. So how big of a blow is it that the Phillies lost both Bohm at third base and Turner at shortstop here over the last couple of days? And
it's big. It's big.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. Where do you currently rank them in the National League? And does losing those two people really drop them down a lot? Or
I
had them number one, to be honest with you.
I don't think they're in the top 3 now. I think it drops them down to 4 or 5. Yeah, I think it has to. 2 real impact back. And plus their pitching injuries. Mm-hmm. I think it has to drop them down. I have them 4th. What about you?
So I still have them number 2 because I really like this lineup, and I think that both Turner and Bohm will be back for the playoffs. So I guess if I'm ranking them like right this minute, I'd probably agree with you. But I think once playoff time comes around, I think you're going to see Trey Turner and Bohm both play for them. They've still got Castellanos. They've still got Schwarber. They've still got their catcher, which by the way, Realmuto and Schwarber are free agents at the end of the season. So I think the team knows it, and I really think that you're going to see them fight to get a title this year because I don't think they're going to return everybody. Turn your phone off. I don't think they're going to return.
Can you hear that?
Yes, I can hear it. I thought it was mine at first. I don't know if you saw me switch over to the one side. I moved my phone because I was like, man, is that my phone? It keeps going off.
I can just move it. I can just chuck it. I can chuck it over there.
Just throw it across the room.
Oh, my God. It's still going off.
Okay. Well, I'll do it.
The baseball topic just sets them off.
Yes, it sets them off. So They also lost to Zach Wheeler, of course. And then the other night, Monday night, I believe, or maybe it was Sunday, Nola went 6 scoreless innings. But here's the thing. I didn't know this until I got the stat. Nolan went 6 scoreless innings, but it's only the second time all season that he has gone 6 scoreless innings without giving up a run. So Nola's not been that number 1, number 2 guy that he's supposed to be.
He hasn't had a good year. He's not Cade Horton, who does it pretty much every start.
For 5 innings, yes. We discussed that
5
last week.
2/3.
Twice. So what two teams do you think will be in the World Series? Or Raman is asking. We did that a few weeks ago, but has
things changed? What do you think? Who's your two? Well, I tell you what. Who's your American League team? We'll start with that. Who's your American League team?
Who's the best team in the American League? Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going. Cubs
They
won
have the
6-1. Cade Horton got the win. What?
Oh, did he get the win today?
Let's
They
see what he
do have
did.
a complete team, but
Cade Horton gave up 1 run in 6 1/3.
cut
Cut him. Just cut him. He's done.
Okay.
Said Toronto. I think I got Toronto as well.
I did see today. I don't know if you saw this. One of the reasons why I put Kyle Tucker on our question earlier, the Cubs put him on the IL today with a calf strain, and then the Blue Jays put Bo Bichette today on the IL with an injury as well. So, some of these teams are really getting some injuries here towards the end, and it'll be interesting to see if any one of these other teams can sneak up on them and overtake them because of it.
The Cubs called up Moises Ballesteros. I just want to bring him up real quick now that you mentioned that.
Sure.
He's a 5'8" catcher, but he really can't catch. So he's a DH only, but he can really hit. He's destroying AAA. So, I mean, he obviously he's limited by his position, but man, he can really hit. So I think that's the main reason why when they were making trades and give up prospects, they didn't trade him is because he can hit, but he doesn't have position. So, but he will probably DH. Seiya Suzuki will probably play right field. So that's someone to watch going forward.
And what was his name again?
Moises Ballesteros. He's a top 50 prospect. On every list, you can look him up.
Yeah.
He's listed as a catcher, but he can't catch. He cannot catch.
I 100% know who he is. In fact, he was in the Arizona Fall League. We will, once the Arizona Fall League gets a little closer, we will talk about the Arizona Fall League because it's one of my big things every single season is the Arizona Fall League.
I'm huge on that too. I'm huge on it too. So I'm glad you are. So who's your National League team? We got Toronto.
Okay. Well, it's not going to be Los Angeles because their bullpen is depleted now. They've lost 2 complete games in the span of less than a week.
It's not going well for them. They've had a bad stretch. I think they actually did win yesterday, but they've had a bad stretch. Yeah.
I'm going to go Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is, and this is going to be a little weird for me to say, but I don't think they have the biggest names. In fact, I bet if you sat down 10 people who say, yes, I'm a Major League Baseball fan, and then you said, give me the starting lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, I bet at least half of them couldn't do it. But
I probably can't even name all 9. I can name most of them, but yeah.
Yeah, but here they are. Best record in baseball, actually, unless they lost today and the Tigers win, because the Tigers are a half game behind them in the best.
Rangers are beating the Brewers 5-3 in the 8th. But I'm going to go with the Padres. I'm going to say Blue Jays. I still believe in the Padres. Still think they have the overall most complete roster in the National League. So I'll say Blue Jays, Padres.
All right. I like this. So it might change next week, right?
We should do that every week. Every week we should do it. See if we change.
We should. I like this. We also, I was listening to the Indians and the Royals game. I was telling you off air I had to go somewhere, and I got back a little late. My dinner's still sitting beside of me and everything else here. But when I was doing that, I'm a big XM satellite radio guy, and they don't pay us or anything, but I really love that, be able to listen to the different radio announcers. I love the Cleveland Guardians radio announcers. So I was listening to that, and he was telling us, and I didn't know this. I was going to throw it in earlier, but I'll throw it in now. Salvador Perez, catcher for the Kansas City Royals. He is 3 home runs away from 300, and he's just a few shy of I believe it was 2,000 RBIs as well. So it's nice to hear a broadcaster for one team talk good about the other team and not just bash them all the time. So just want to throw that out there. All right, buddy. I know you want to do it. I know you've been waiting this entire time. I'm going to give you some music to do it with. And let's jump into NFL 4 Down Territory. All right, so after we do NFL 4 Down Territory, just so everybody stays tuned, we do have our Truth Top 10 at the end of the show. And today, we are going to do the top 10 Major League Baseball managers right now. Not of all time, not anything like that. We're going to do the top 10 Major League Baseball managers today. Should be an interesting list. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, so,
all right,
okay.
Chief.
Oh, hold on. Let me take Billy Martin off the list. He's fired again. Billy Martin fired. Okay. Fired
for like the 12th time in his career, and most of them by the same team. So
most people won't get that joke, but it's funny for us.
Yeah. Anyway. Most people are not as old as I am, sir, so that's okay.
Yeah,
all right, now I really want to get into this discussion about field goals and all of this stuff because I didn't know a lot of what you're about to tell me about field goals. So let's do that. Let's jump into this discussion about field goals. Talk to me, buddy. What you got for us?
Well, for years, the record was around 63, 64, 65 yards. And all of a sudden, for example, in the preseason this year, the Jaguars kicker kicked a 70-yard kick. All of a sudden, people are making 60 yards, 59 yards like it's nothing and clearing it with yards to go. And I was wondering what happened. I mean, obviously, people get nutrition, they get bigger, stronger, whatever. But it's something called the K-ball. Now, like 59-yard kicks, there was one at the end of the half in the Vikings-Bears game. Another game, the Chiefs ran out right before halftime and kicked one. Like 59-yard kicks, it's nothing. It's routine. So there's something called the K-ball. They're specifically designed. They're not brand new balls are slick. They're hard to kick. So basically, they have a guy that takes the ball and makes it ideal for kickers to make it go further distance, and it probably at least 5 yards further from what I've read.
Okay.
So they're designed to make the ball go further. Do you like this? Do you like that kickers can kick it 65, 60 like his routine, 65, maybe even 70 yards?
I find this topic great because I remember when you and I were having this same sort of discussion when we were talking about, we're going to take you behind the scenes for a minute here, ladies and gentlemen. So, we always talk about, okay, what are we going to do for the top 10 this week? And how does that set up something else that we've talked about? So we try to connect everything together and put it all up there. And one of my suggestions was, let's do the top 10 field goal kickers. And you were adamant. You were like, no, field goal kickers don't matter. And now all of a sudden you want to talk about field goal kickers.
I want to talk about distance. I don't want to talk about kickers specifically. I want to talk about the distance that these kicks are going.
Okay, but don't you? Okay, so how many games? I should have looked this up before we were doing this segment. I just didn't have time to do it because, like I said, and I told you kind of off air what I was doing, but I had to do a couple things today, so they were kind of unexpected. That popped up. So how many games do you think in week one were won by 3 points or less? Do you have that stat? Do we need to look that up?
We can look it up. I do not have that stat. But I know there's a lot of missed kicks and there are a lot of long kicks. The Houston Texans kicker Fairbairn, I think is his name. He makes like 55-yard kicks like it's nothing, like extra points. So 3 points or less, you said? So one,
I'm looking it up right now.
2, 3, 4, 5. 5, but there were 2 4-point games. So 7 4 or less. 5 3-point or less and 7 4-point or less. 49ers won by 4, so did the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know if you watched the game. You know, I'm the Bengals guy. Even though I've got my Cardinals stuff on today, I support that team because this is where I live. But I was born and raised back in Cincinnati, Ohio. So that's why I'm a Reds and a Bengals guy too. I'll wear the Bengals jersey next week. Depends on if they win or not. But
I think they will. I think they're going to beat the Jaguars. That's
Me
my
too.
prediction. Spoiler
Right.
for my preview video. Anyway,
oh,
and
now
football
when
with
are you gonna
cheese.
when are you going to do the preview video?
Friday. I'm going to do a Caleb Williams, Bears, Ben Johnson video Thursday. I was going to add it to my video today, but it was just I really want to do a deep dive, do more research. But every Friday, I'm going to do an NFL preview video at Football with Cheese. You can see cheese is spelled Cheez, like Cheez-It. And I will go over each game real quick, much quicker than my recap video. Those take longer. And spoiler, I'm going to pick the Bengals to beat the Jaguars. I think the Bengals, for some reason, never play well week 1, but they'll be fine.
Well, they were okay. They played okay. Well, I tell you what, they really did.
They won.
They won.
They won.
Yeah. That's all I can really say is that they won. So
yeah.
Where was I going with this? I can't remember.
So the kickers, 3-point games, close games.
Yeah,
I say kickers aren't people, basically.
I'm getting old, everybody. So, well, I mean, they are though, and aren't they a really important part to the game of football now?
They're becoming more important because of the distance. I mean, they're important. I just, when I say they aren't football players, punters and kickers, and I say that, I mean, they don't ever, they're not regularly making tackles. They're not in the trenches. They're not taking hits unless something bad happens, obviously. So that's what I meant. They're specialists. They're special. So kickers.
So like short bus special or?
Wow, Mike. Wow. No.
No.
But
okay.
no, not that special.
So how long is it going to take for these kickers and punters to start earning more money? The more and more that they win games for their teams.
I still think they're not going to make. I mean, I think the biggest kicker makes maybe $5 million a year. That's a guess. Punter maybe $3 or $4 million. That's just, I don't have the numbers. But even in punting as well, these guys are kicking it further. So what they can do is more hang time, because obviously you don't want to kick your coverage, but more and more punters are going to start, getting a lot of like net yards, like 45 net. No, when I was a kid, like if you average 43, 44 yards on punt, you were incredible. Now we're going to have punters that average over 50 and have a net of 44, 45 because they can kick it further. They're going to have more hang time. So it is valuable to have a great punter and kicker. Obviously it costs the Browns the game. It costs the Falcons the game. Will they have won with a great kicker? Maybe, maybe not. But it almost cost the Buccaneers. Their kicker missed.
Yeah.
So.
So the average annual salary of an NFL kicker varies, but 90% of them fall between $1 and $2 million.
Yeah, you got to think a lot of them though are undrafted free agents or late round picks. They're going to make hundreds of thousands. Only the ones on second contracts will make money. So, first contract. kickers aren't making much.
Yeah, Harrison Butker, Jake Elliott, they make a little bit more than $6 million. So they're the upper echelon, I guess.
If Harrison Butker can make a kick run on the field 9 seconds later, kick a 15-yard kick and make it, he deserves that. I don't know if you saw that on that Friday night game.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch.
They had no timeout left. They had to run him out there. He basically had no time. 9 seconds from when he was on the sideline to when that ball was snapped, and he kicked it 15 yards. So, yeah.
All right. So where do you want to go next, buddy? We've talked about field goals and kickers and all of that. I thought it was interesting. I didn't know that there were two different footballs, and you taught me that with these notes.
I just have one more question. Do you think we're going to have 70-yard kicks as routine in 5-10 years? Do you think it's – so basically what teams are going to have to do is when at the end of the half, end of the game, they're going to have to make sure they use as much clock as possible, even more so now. Because if the team can tie or win it with a field goal. Because if a team can make a 70-yard kick, you don't need 30 seconds. You might not even need 25 seconds to get in that range. So teams' time management becomes so much more important in the future if teams can regularly make 70-yard kicks. Do you think that's going to be routine? Do you think it's going to train strategy?
Oh man, it's going to be weird if it does happen, because you're going to do a touchback and then get 10 more yards and be in field goal range.
So for everyone who doesn't know, if you're at the 50-yard line, that's a 67-yard kick. So all you have to do is get the 50 to make a 67-yard field goal. If that's routine, if most kickers with this K-ball can make that, getting to the 50, touchback is 35, that's no problem.
Yeah. I think the NFL may have to change this rule. They may have to either take away the K-ball, or they may have to change the kickoff rule some. I don't.
Could they move the goalpost back maybe 5 yards deeper?
Yeah, I guess they could do that. They might be able to do something like maybe every the indoor football league. There's an indoor football league team here in Arizona that's done pretty well. They've been to the playoffs a whole lot more than they haven't been to the playoffs in the Arizona Rattlers. So I've been to a couple, 3 of those games, and they actually don't do goalposts that go into the ground. They do the goalpost that hangs from the ceiling. It's got chains on it, and then it drops down and it hangs from the ceiling. So maybe the NFL will just put that thing on a motor, and the first kick, it's 10 yards from there's a 10-yard additional, and then the second kick goes to 15, and the third one goes to 20. And
hey, maybe if you still have every timeout you get 5 yards closer at the end of the game. You still have timeouts, you can move closer. Maybe the goalpost moves closer. So don't waste your timeouts. Who knows?
Who knows? I know we're kind of making light of it a little bit, but it's kind of like in the beginning. I remember when I was an old man and you didn't have this kind of time behind an offensive line, right? You didn't have 5, 6, 7 seconds to throw a 70-yard bomb, to set up for that. But now you do, because of the improved offensive line play on some of these teams. So I never thought that was going to. Are you killing flies again? I never thought that was going to happen. And here we are. I think every game there's at least a 50-yard pass almost every game, right? And I don't want to say it's become routine, but it's a
and that's why more teams are playing 2 deep safeties, trying to take away the big play, dropping 25 yards downfield. Yeah, that's why. And if you watch the Packer-Lion game, I don't know if you watched it, there were so many plays where Green Bay kept 6, 7, maybe even 8 guys in to protect Jordan Love. And he just sat there and found an open receiver. Eventually the receiver got open.
Right.
That's what a lot of teams are doing. Like, we're going to give you time. Our receivers are going to beat your corners. And you're right. It's so important now. Like, teams will cut good running backs now. If they can't pick up the blitz, they're not willing to, and keep guys that aren't even good at running backs, but they will stand in there and and pick up the blitz.
Yeah, same thing with tight ends.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't, again, got the Arizona Cardinals gear on. The Arizona Cardinals ran a lot of plays with 4 tight ends.
Yeah, I'd love to run behind 4 tight ends when I'm James Conner.
You're right.
I'd love that.
So yeah, it's interesting how the game has evolved. That's all I'm going to say. And if this keeps going with the field goal things, I think the NFL is going to have to make some changes, or it's just going to be chip shots all the time. There's going to be, I mean, a 70-yarder is not a chip shot, but it's going to be so much so that they're not going to miss very many of them. So it's going to change the game again. We're going to have to do something different.
It does make it more exciting, though, a little bit at the half and at the end. Before, back in maybe like the 90s, if there was 45 seconds left, no timeouts, he had no chance to tie up the field goal. Now, that's plenty of time. So it does make it a little more exciting at the end. Whether that's good or not, we'll see. But it gives teams a better chance to tie it or take the lead.
Right. It always gives your team hope, even if you're down. So
right.
I'm sure that helps with ratings, and I'm sure that helps with the gambling aspect, and the USFL, the one that The Rock runs. They did the whole you can do a 1 point, a 2 point, a 3 point, and all that kind of thing for the exact same reasons. So pretty interesting how this is evolving, and it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes from here. It's why I really like this conversation that you were going to bring up. I thought it's going to be a really good topic for us, and it was. So our fans can comment. Of course, you can click that comment button and type in whatever you need to do. Give us your comments and your feedback, and as long as you're talking about what we're talking about, then we'll include you in the show. Cheese, where are we going next in the NFL, buddy?
Okay. In week 1, who were your 2 most impressive teams and why?
Let me do that. All right. So 2 impressive, 2 non-impressive, and 1 surprise, right?
That's what we're going. Yeah. 2 most impressive. What teams were you not impressed, and who completely surprised you? Yes.
So I was impressed this weekend. Man, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I was impressed by the Green Bay Packers this weekend. I thought that game with the Detroit Lions would be so much closer than that. I thought this would be a battle back and forth, and it wasn't. It was utterly dominated by the Packers, and I thought the Packers took it easy on them at the end, almost like they didn't want to embarrass them.
They got way too conservative. Matt LaFleur does this when he gets up a couple of scores. He gets so conservative instead of putting a team away. He does that.
Yeah. Do you like that, by the way, or would you rather them just stomp on their throat?
I hate it. He did it last year, and what happens is the defense ends up being on the field way more than the offense. Like, they lost time of possession 35-25 because of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so annoying. It's like the passing game was working. Detroit couldn't get pressure, and one of their starting corners got injured, and he was playing well. And Matt LaFleur's, just keep passing. Nope, run on first down, run, second down, run, third down, punt. 3 and out. And the defense, they had a Thursday game. You have a quick turnaround. The defense was on the field way more than Detroit's was. It's the one thing that really annoys me with Matt LaFleur. He's a great coach, except for that he gets so conservative when he gets a lead, especially a 2-score lead. But I agree. I had one of my teams, Packers. They played really well. The defense was outstanding. They pretty much dominated the game, dominating the trenches of both sides. And the defensive line was so good. And Detroit's offensive line just isn't what it used to be. Who was your second most impressive team?
I think this might surprise you a little bit, but I did not expect them to win this game. And in fact, the team that they beat, I picked to go to the playoffs. So I was really impressed with the Las Vegas Raiders in their win over the Patriots this weekend. Yes, Aston Gentry, I get it. Max Crosby, I certainly get it. Pete Carroll as their coach now, but they looked a lot better than I thought they were going to, and they impressed me.
Yeah, they did. New England's one of those teams, they're young. It's a very young roster, a lot of new people. They'll probably be better as the season goes on, but they didn't look good. And yeah, Geno Smith played really well. He had a very good game because the Patriots stopped the run. GMT did not go off, so they did it through the air. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. They got down early. They weren't looking good. There was a pick six in the third quarter. They could have just, given up. I mean, obviously they weren't going to give up, but the fourth quarter, the Vikings looked amazing, offensively and defensively. J.J. McCarthy looked great. It's just a huge win. Huge, just completely shifted. That game, I don't know if I've ever seen a game quite like that, where almost three quarters is one team's dominated. Bears should have been up by way more than 17-6, and then it just completely flipped, and the Vikings dominated. So I'll see the Minnesota Vikings. So what's a team that did not impress you at all?
Well, there's one that I don't think could have impressed anyone. The Miami Dolphins looked just plain awful. Yeah. And then their coach got up behind the podium and tried to make a bunch of excuses for why they looked awful, which made them look even worse. So between
I tweeted
the play on the field, between the play on the field and the crying done by their coach, they were by far the worst team I saw this weekend.
So the Denver Broncos, big expectations. We both picked them to win the division. They have great defense. Their offense looked terrible. They did win because they played the Titans. Bo Nix didn't look good. They were a mess. And luckily they played a Titans team with a rookie quarterback and a bad offensive line. And the Titans didn't play well either. But I was not impressed by the Broncos at all. They probably played, let's put it this way, 2/3 of the team on the schedule, they would have lost that game. So I was not impressed by the Broncos. What is the second team that did not impress you?
Well, let me talk about the Broncos Titans for just a second.
Okay.
I watched that game, and then I went back and rewatched bits and pieces of it because I really wanted to look at Cam Ward. I don't know how much of it you watched, how much of that game that you saw. Did you have the same impression I did, which was it looked like Cam Ward was trying to throw that ball through his receivers? They missed several balls. He was. It's kind of like a.
There were some drops.
They weren't great thrown balls either. That's one of the reasons why I went back through and watched the highlights again. It's almost like the pitcher when he misses like glove side or whatever all the time. Cam Ward seemed to miss high and right all of his receivers almost every throw. So and I
some
really
of it he wasn't on the same page though.
He threw that thing.
Some of it he wasn't on the same page. I think, Alec Ayomaner is a rookie. He was playing a lot of snaps. They weren't on the same page. There's one throw they both were clearly not on the same page. So yeah, what you're saying, some of it was that, some of them not being on the same page. There were a couple bad drops. It's going to be growing pains. They don't have a good receiving core. They don't have a good offensive line. He's not in a great position to succeed. Tony Pollard's fine at running back. He's good, nothing great, but he's not in a great position to succeed. So their defense actually played pretty well, but their offense is just a mess. But it's going to be a long year for them.
All right. The reason why I didn't wear my Cincinnati Bengals jersey this week was because even though they won, they had 7 yards in the second half of that game. So as much as I love the team and I really think they're going to do well this year, they looked awful and should be thanking their lucky stars that they must have paid off the new Cleveland field goal kicker. And that's the only reason they won that game. I said it earlier about the Dallas and Philadelphia game. I felt that Dallas lost that game more than Philly won that game. And I certainly felt that Cleveland lost that game more than Cincinnati won that game. So I'd have to say they're my second non-impressive team, even though they won. They just got lucky.
Give Jim Schwartz credit. He's been one of the best defensive coordinators for decades now. He's the Browns defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. He called a great game, but Burrow threw for 113 yards. That will never happen again. I just don't understand. Maybe you can explain to me, but the Bengals never show up week 1. I don't understand. They didn't last year.
Nope.
They're going to be fine. They're going to be one of the best offenses in the league. They have so many weapons. They have 2 elite receivers. They have a great running back. They have 2 good tight ends. Joe Burrow's, our pick for MVP. They're going to be great, but for some reason, week 1, they just stink. But they won.
And I tell you, I think they may have fired their coach if they just started like 0-2 or 0-3 this season too. So maybe he saved his job for a year or two by
no, they're Bengal fans that want him
the
gone.
Browns week 1. So
they're Bengal fans that want him gone. I was going to say the Dolphins, but I figured you would, so I came with another team that really disappointed me is the Carolina Panthers. I really thought they'd be one of the most improved teams. They got better on defense in the draft. And Bryce Young played really well down the stretch. Last 4 or 5 games, he played really well. And the old Bryce Young showed back up. The defense wasn't good. I don't know how good. Maybe the Jaguars are a playoff team. Maybe they finally living up to the talent. But Carolina, they stunk. They stunk on every aspect of the game. Chuba Hubbard, he's pretty good running back. But Taylor McMillan, they got better. They have more talent. I just don't understand how the Panthers could be that bad. Okay, and what team surprised you the most?
Oh, man. This is kind of hard for me. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Okay.
I've kind of gone back and forth, but my big knock on the Chargers has always been they can't win an important game. They're Penn State of the college football ranks, right? They get to the big game and then they lose it. Yeah, this was a big game on Friday. All eyes were on them and the Chiefs, and they pulled that win out, and they actually looked pretty good doing it. So I would say my surprise team for week 1 at least. I don't know how long it's going to last, but at least for week 1 would be the Chargers.
And it's hard to outcoach the Chiefs. But Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, offensive coordinator, they outcoached the Chiefs in that game. Mm-hmm. They absolutely did. So good for them. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. I really thought the Jets would struggle this year offensively. And the Steelers, I know they give up 32 points. The Steelers have really good defense, but the Jets offense looked amazing. They ran the ball. Justin Fields looked great. Maybe the Jets, I know they lost the game, but if their offense plays well this year, they could be pretty good because it's such a strange game. Both teams have good defenses. It just, they didn't play well defensively. So the Jets surprised me on how well they did offensively. Okay, so do you have any games you're really looking forward to in week 2?
I'll tell you what.
I have 2.
All right, so give me
yours
and give me a chance to look because to be honest, I was looking at these notes and I forgot to look. So
okay,
let me.
That's fine. Well, I mean, look, Redskins. Okay, they already did it again. Thursday night, it's huge. It's the winner's 2-0. Both teams look amazing in week 1. They both get 3 extra days before their next opponents. I think Packers get the Browns after. So whoever wins that game is in great shape. Do you want me to go with my second one, or are you ready?
No, go ahead and give me your second one.
So Chargers Raiders is important. Same thing with Redskins Packers. The winner is 2-0, and it's a division game. If the Chargers win, they're 2-0 and 2-0 in the division. And if the Raiders win, they won a road against the Patriots, and they won a division game. I mean, the winner of the game is in great shape, and it'd be so big for the Raiders. How bad it's been the last several years. They've been the laughingstock of the AFC West. So that's a late. There's 2 Monday night games. That's a late Monday night game. So those are the 2 games that I'm looking forward to the most.
All right, I'm going to take two other ones here. We were both really high on Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay scared me. Even
Yeah.
though my
Yeah.
guy, we were texting each other back and forth. Look,
Oh, he
you know,
bailed Baker Mayfield out. Baker Mayfield,
Ibuka.
yeah, Baker Mayfield had a bad game. Emeka Ibuka bailed him out on a couple plays. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And Tampa Bay is in Houston, and Houston's already 0-1. Houston can't afford to go 0-2, and I think Tampa Bay has to come out and prove that that game wasn't a fluke, and they are a real title contender. So I like that both teams are going to almost be desperate for a win. And then maybe a team that I should have put on my impressed list, but I failed to do so. And now I'm almost kicking myself as I'm looking at some of these other games against a team that you said was very disappointing, but we both have high hopes for. You've got the Denver Broncos going to the Indianapolis Colts. Man, what did the Colts do over the weekend? And what did they do? Did they find the elixir for Daniel? I mean, what happened there?
They played the Dolphins. That helps. You know, Dolphins are terrible.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. That does help. But
the Colts actually have a lot of talent on offense. They do. The question has always been the quarterback. They are great at receiver. They have a really good tight end, rookie tight end. Offensive line's outstanding. So there's a lot of talent in that offense. It just if the quarterback plays well, they're going to score points.
Okay. All right, so those are the 4 games between the two of us that we're really looking forward to. I know we got some more NFL stuff to do here before we get into our Truth Top 10. What else you got for us, buddy?
Well, let's just talk about Ryan Clark. I'm sure most people know by now. There's so many issues with him. He's a former safety. He played for the Steelers, might have played for a couple more teams. He's been on ESPN for years. They were discussing CeeDee Lamb and his job issues on Get Up, a show that nobody watches on ESPN because why would you? And he disagreed with football writer and TV personality Peter Schrager. He used to be on NFL Network. He was on that morning show they had. I can't think what it's called right now.
Good Morning Football.
Good Morning Football. I don't really watch it. It's too goofy. When Kay Adams left, there's no reason to watch it. But he basically said to him, when he disagreed with Peter Schrager's take, he said, that's the non-player in you, suggesting that because Peter Schrager didn't actually play football, that he should not have an opinion on the topic. Schrager, I give him credit. He kept his calm and said, do not belittle me. Like, he stood up for himself. Peter Schrager, good for you. He handled it well. He could have snapped. He didn't snap. He kept his cool and said, do not belittle me. I love that. But then Ryan Clark, he doubled down and did belittle him. He said, Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish. But here's the thing. Clark interrupted Schrager in the first place. So he belittles him, and then he talks down to him. Now, Clark does not like it when people disagree with him. Okay? We remember the RG3 thing?
Yeah.
Where Robert Griffin III, RG3, he, former quarterback, he's in TV now.
Mm-hmm. Who got his first win over the weekend?
He what?
Got his first win. Oh, no, that was Michael Vick. I always get those two mixed up. Michael Vick got his first win over the weekend.
RG3, no dogfighting. That's the key. No dogfighting. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But RG3 made a comment about a WNBA player. Who cares? WNBA. Nobody cares. It's, whatever. And Ryan Clark disagreed with him and then attacked him personally. Mm-hmm. Attacked him. He can't make a comment on it because he's married to a white woman. RG3 is black. So is Ryan Clark. And yeah, there's more. It turns out Ryan Clark has a daughter with a white woman. So he's a total hypocrite. He basically was criticizing him for being a mixed race marriage, but kid with just a total hypocrite. Like, who do you think you are? He's been a race baiter. Ryan Clark's been a disaster for ESPN. I have friends that if they see him on the TV or a pregame show, they turn it off.
You have friends?
One or two.
Okay.
One or two. I'll ask you a question in a second. This is long. We're almost there, but
okay.
So when I watch Fox Sports or NFL Network or ESPN, I want a reason to watch you. And you could be funny. You could have a lot of knowledge, like funny Pat McAfee. You could be fun or funny Pat McAfee. You could be really knowledgeable like Nick Saban or Dan Orlovsky, or you could just be likable. And Ryan Clark is none of these. His takes are terrible. His predictions are terrible. There's nothing he brings to the table. And he comes off as a narcissist to me, because a narcissist, when they're challenged at all, rather than argue the point, they attack. They attack you personally. And he went after Justin Herbert. And luckily, Lad McConkey and multiple people called him out. Lad McConkey got his back. He attacked Justin Herbert. And let's be honest, Justin Herbert had the best performance probably of any quarterback this season. There was even a report by the journalist, his name is Bobby Burak. I hope I said that right. He reports that some ESPN talents don't want to work with Clark. The quote was, various ESPN talents have expressed they do not want to work alongside Clark, citing his lack of impulse control and professionalism. So how does this guy have work, and how did he ever get on TV, Mike?
Well, I don't know how he ever got on TV, but I can tell you why he still has work. It's because of what we're doing right now. We're talking about it. I'm a big WWE guy too, right? So I understand that whether people love you or hate you, they're still paying attention to you, right? Whether you're the heel or the face in the ring, good guy, bad guy is what those two terms mean, right? At least you're getting people to shout your name or to throw stuff at you, or it's the Yankees, right? People either love them or hate them, and there's not much in between. And I think Ryan Clark is doing the same thing. Here we are saying how we don't like him, and we did it about Bill Belichick earlier, right? We don't like either of these guys, yet we took a few minutes out of our program to talk about them. So this is getting ESPN on talk shows. This is getting people to talk, whether it's, even if it is negative. Negative publicity is still publicity. And I think ESPN puts up with it because people like you and I will talk about it.
Let's Skip Bayless thing too. Like, why was Skip Bayless employed for years? Yeah. Okay. Still though.
I mean, I don't like Stephen A. Smith either.
No, I don't either.
There's a lot of people
but Stephen A. Smith, even Stephen A. Smith, you can tell he has some common sense. He brings some things to the table at times. He makes some good points.
Yes, but you can also tell that he knows if he screams and yells enough, he's going to get people talking.
Oh yeah, I call them the loud losers. That's the term I use. Skip Bayless, just scream and yell. The louder you are, if you're so loud, then you're going to get attention, and people are going to retweet and talk about it. Yeah, right. That's why he gets so loud. So Ryan Clark had to apologize, just like he had to apologize to RG3, because there are a lot of mixed race couples, and he basically probably offended a lot of people out there saying you can't mix race, and then it turns out it's insane. Do you buy his apologies, both, or do you think ESPN made him do it? What do you think?
I'm sure ESPN made him do it. But again, it doesn't really matter if it's a half-hearted apology, because 90% of the people who are talking about Ryan Clark over the last 24 to 48 hours don't care about his apology. It really makes no difference to me. I'm not going to watch him because he apologized. So that ship's already sailed, whether he apologizes, whether I believe it or not.
Of course they made him do it. There's no way he would do it. ESPN, I think what happened both times is like, look, this is bad. If you don't apologize, we're going to have to let you go. And he doesn't want to be fired. It's simple as that. And so, he issues it on social media. He doesn't say it in person. Of course he doesn't. And, of course, he shows up. He's on Monday Night Football pregame show. I turned it on, saw him there, and I hit mute. I don't want to hear his take because it's going to be terrible. And Peter Schrager, the guy he belittled, had a better picks, and he's known. I think he's kind of goofy. I'm not a huge Peter Schrager fan or anything like that, but he's known for picking games well, especially Super Bowl. Like every year, like there are years where he's picked both teams. He picked the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. He had Chiefs Packers last year, but he's known for making these great picks. So when he's picking games, and he does a much better job than Ryan Clark. All right. So you have some NFL stuff as well.
Yeah, I want to get to a couple of things here. Now, for those of you who don't know, I don't want to say allowed. That makes it sound like that I'm just this tyrant over here, but I'm a control freak, and I will certainly admit to that. My wife and other family members will tell you the same thing. People that I work with will certainly say the same thing. It's part of who I am and the job that I do and everything else. So I have given the NFL reins pretty much to Cheese because he is the NFL guy. But there's always a couple of things that he might not want to talk about that I would like to touch on. And let me give you both of these things. So the fan who touched Hopkins and Jackson was suspended from the stadium. That was his punishment. I don't know if you saw his, he did the punishment with his neck brace on and everything else. It's like, oh my gosh, really? So should Jackson be punished for his retaliation?
For anyone who doesn't know, what happened was at the Bills-Ravens game, the Ravens players were by the end zone, and the Bills fans were making physical contact with a couple Ravens players, including Lamar Jackson. So your question was to Lamar Jackson?
Mm-hmm. Should he be punished for what he did to the fan?
No, absolutely not. He should. Fans for opposing teams should not touch opposing players. It's different if it's your home team and you're jump like the Lambeau Leap and or you're giving high fives to your fans. But no, Bills fan, there should be a rule in every stadium. If a player for opposing team is near you, do not touch them. If you touch them at all, if you reach out, it's different if they jump in the fans at you. That's different. You touch them at all, no, you're done. So no. What do you think?
Well, there is that is that rule. Let me read it to you straight from the NFL
there is.
And the NFLPA. Yes, I'll give you the exact quote. Any fan that engages in unruly and disruptive behavior will lose the privilege of attending NFL games. Penalties can include ejection, banishment from NFL games and events, and even legal action. That is quote unquote. I'm not going to tell you that it's on the back of every ticket because stuff has changed so much. We don't really even have tickets anymore. But that is the NFL rule that it's also been approved by the NFL Players Association. You're going to find out why I want to talk about this in a minute when I go crazy about it here in a second, but let me build to it. What rights do fans and players have? I mean, the fan paid for that ticket. Don't they get some kind of rights too?
Don't touch the opposing players.
But in the NBA, if the ball is going out of bounds, I've seen plenty of NBA people go after that ball and dive into the crowd and just slam into the people in the front two rows.
They're trying to make a play for the game. This is a fan reaching out and touching another player. They're trying to help their team. I think it's completely different. Don't reach out and touch Lamar Jackson as he's walking by.
What about the fan that brings his glove to the game in Major League Baseball and the ball is hit to the outfield and he reaches over the field of play and catches the ball? Doesn't he have a right to that ball if he can reach it from his seat?
That is the tricky one with baseball. Let's just talk about like home runs. Mm-hmm. I think every Major League Baseball stadium should have a gap big enough where no fan can interfere. So there's no controversy. Like the Cubs put up a fence. They used to have a fence to prevent that. Like if a fan can reach over, there was an Orioles Yankees. You probably remember better than me. The Orioles Yankees in the 90s game where the kid reached over and stole, and they called it a home run, and it helped the Yankees. They have won the series.
Yeah,
I'm sure you remember that. Yeah.
Right. What about Bartman? I mean, you're the Cubs guy. What about Bartman, right?
Bleep Bartman. Bleep Bartman. But no, baseball's tricky, but no, like fans, if you're in the front row, you should not reach out for the ball. You should know. And the Bartman's gone. Like he was kicked out. Like he's gone. But yeah, I baseball is a little. It's different. Baseball, there's no foul ball in football. Let's just. I'd actually love to talk about this with baseball. We'll do this another podcast. Okay. But as far as football goes, we'll do it in the off season. But as far as football goes, you cannot touch Lamar Jackson as he's walking by, and that fan should have been kicked out. In my opinion,
you can't tell me I can't touch them if I can reach out. And I mean, that's what I paid that money for that seat for.
If he jumps in the stands like a Lambeau Leap, fine, but he's not. And I absolutely Lamar. I have no problem with Lamar. Did someone's touching me? I'd shove him too. Good for Lamar Jackson. I'm definitely taking the player's side.
Okay, so let me tell you, and I wrote this down, and I want to give it to you word for word. Let me tell you why the NFL is not going to do anything to Lamar Jackson.
Okay,
it's because they already screwed him. I'm going to conspiracy theory this one for you. You can't tell me that Sunday night game was not rigged. Come on. You watched the game. Buffalo went right down the field. They drove right down the field. And then all of a sudden they can't score. And then they score right before the half and get everybody back into the game again. So they come back for the second half of the game. And then all of a sudden the third quarter dominated by Lamar Jackson, and Buffalo can't stop him, and Buffalo can't score. And then all of a sudden it's like J.J. McCarthy on Monday night, right? Come on, man, stop. I know you're a big football guy here, but can't you look at this from an objective lens and see it's no different than the refs helping Kansas City last year? Come on, that was staged. Are you kidding me right now? You don't think that Matt Prater wasn't brought in and, oh, wow, we can really do something big with this? And I mean, they've already, I'm sure, did you not notice that not one Ravens fan was all upset? Right? They're just kind of hanging out on the sidelines like they knew they were all going to lose.
Did you see right before the end of the first half what happened? So the Ravens get a field goal with 35 seconds left in the half, go up 20-10. And the Bills magically were able to move the ball down the field and get a 43-yard field goal.
Right.
That was a big field goal because they won by 1 point.
Exactly.
Okay, so you think Derrick Henry fumbled on purpose with 4 minutes to go?
You know what? That is, and I'll give you that. That's the part of it that I really can't explain. He didn't look like he dropped it on purpose, but it also didn't really look to me like anybody was punching at the ball or anything. He just got into the pile, and the ball just all of a sudden starts rolling around on the ground.
I'll say this. They showed his face on the replay. He did not look happy.
Of course he didn't look happy.
Like he did not. He was not happy with himself. And the thing is, he was having such an amazing game. Bills' run defense, that's the only big weakness on that team. That team is so good, but their run defense sucks. What are you saying?
Oh no, I'm just saying they're not going to do anything to Lamar because they already went to Lamar and said, look, man, we're going to build up the hype for this because we're pretty sure that we're going to be able to make the two of you meet in the playoffs again, and we want big ratings, and I mean you don't.
I'll never forget this game. I'll never forget this game. I'll say this: 20 years from now, I'm going to remember this game. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, that's just my opinion, right? I think the whole thing's rigged.
Some games do look like that. I'll say this: the worst officiated game was last night. The Bears did get screwed in the first half. Multiple calls. There was a holding call against Wright, the right tackle, where the defender falls down and then he kind of jumps on him, but he did nothing wrong, and they throw a holding penalty. There was a hands to the face that was terrible. Like the Bears, there was 3, maybe even 4 calls that the Bears got screwed over. Now they were ahead, so it didn't think like a big deal. Ended up being a big deal later on. It's almost like the referees thought the Bears were playing the Chiefs and not the Vikings. So I get what you're saying. Some of these games, it's hard to not believe that it's rigged because of the things that happen. But I get it. I don't think it was rigged because I think Derrick Henry was devastated when he made that fumble. But I get what you're saying.
And I also think it's the gambling aspect. That's why I don't like all of these. I don't like Major League Baseball getting in bed with all the gambling people. I don't like any sport that gets in bed with all these gambling sites and the FanDuels and the DraftKings and all that kind of stuff.
Did you watch the Eagles Cowboys game?
I watched part of it. Yes. Well, actually, I listened to it. I didn't see it. I listened to it because I was
at the end. CeeDee Lamb are dropping balls like crazy. If I'm being a conspiracy theorist, I'm thinking that the Vegas people, all of them said, Eagles got to win straight up. Don't win. I mean, I'm not accusing CeeDee Lamb of anything because I know he's watching, but of course, most of the NFL watches this. But
yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, my boy Micah Parsons, love you, Micah. But honestly, like CeeDee Lamb is not a guy known for drops, and
no,
he had 2 horrific drops
that would have probably won them the game.
Probably would have won them the game. Just conspiracy theory. Did they tell him make sure, like you're probably not going to win? The Eagles are really good, but make sure you do not win that game. So.
All right, let me get to the next one because we're almost 2.5 hours into this podcast here. So,
oh my gosh!
So we've got a lot more. We got 2 more things to do here. So, why is Aaron Rodgers still playing? This was our Twitter poll question that I messed up and spelled people's names wrong, and you were the person that pointed out to me. So let me go over to that poll question here and take a look at it real quick. It was. Let me just go ahead and read it to you. Which Packers quarterback is the best to ever wear the green and gold? I only put this out a few hours before we started, so it's got about 100 views on it or so. I'm sure it'll get more as we go through the night and tomorrow.
Holy crap! I just looked at it. Shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
So am I. So am I actually. I'll give everybody the results here in a second. My opinion is this. And I want to watch. I'm going to go back to the screen so I can see your face when I say it. I think the only reason that Aaron Rodgers is still playing is because his ego wants him to be known as the best Packers quarterback ever.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Oh,
I'm saying all I heard was his ego, and then it cut out.
All right, I apologize. So no, Brett Favre's ego is telling him. Favre? I'm sorry, daggone it, I'm just messing this all up. So Aaron Rodgers' ego, that's the reason why he's still playing. He wants to be known as the best Packers quarterback ever. And he's got to do a few more things. He has to accomplish a few more records in order for that to be decisive. And in my opinion, he's not trying to win a Super Bowl for Pittsburgh. He's trying to make sure that he is put down in folklore forever as the greatest Packers quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Aaron just loves football. I think this happens to a lot of players. They just, like Peyton Manning played longer than he should. He was pretty much done. He didn't have the arm strength. I think Aaron loves the game. He's a competitor and wants to keep playing. I get what you're saying. It's possible. He's got an ego for sure. But I think it's more about loving the game and wanting a second ring, just like Peyton did. I think he wants a second ring. And I already think he's going
to get that in Pittsburgh.
Well, they're 1-0. Yeah, it's possible this year. It's possible.
He's got to beat the
Ravens. I know you don't want to believe it. I know you don't want to believe it, but I know their defense didn't look good this week, but their defense has a lot of talent on it. If they're a top 10 team to me. If everything goes right, it's possible. Do I predict them? No, but I predicted them in the playoffs. But to me, he's already the best Packer quarterback of all time. But you didn't include, so you had in the poll, it said Brett Favre, Bart Starr, Aaron Rodgers. Where's Jordan Love? I mean, When all said and done, it's going to be Jordan Love, of course, because Jordan Love's going to.
It's all said and done. We said right now, or I said right now. Who's the best to ever wear the green and gold? I may have to include him 5 years from now, but I'm not including him today.
Because he's going to have 3 titles, and Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers each have 1. So he's going to have at least 3 Super Bowls, Jordan Love. So, yeah, I would click Jordan Love if he was included. But no, I think Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is the best Packer quarterback of all time. He's the most efficient. He's the most accurate. I just, in his prime, as good as Brett Favre and Bart Starr were, and they were really good, I think Aaron Rodgers was better.
And I know I misspelled Brett Favre's name, and I know I misspelled Starr's name too. So
you got Aaron Rodgers right.
I got Aaron Rodgers right, but it's pretty hard to rip me if I admit to it on National Podcasting Network here, which is, by the way, what we're about to become. So there you go.
There you go.
So yeah, we're gonna do some special stuff here in the next week. So let me give you some statistics. I'm sure you know that Brett Favre has the NFL's highest, or he is at 508 when it comes to the most touchdown passes in the NFL. And as of Sunday, Aaron Rodgers is at 507. So he is going to pass Brett Favre for that. It's one of those records that I think he really, really wants. This goes back to the whole ego thing, right? So most yards of a Green Bay Packers quarterback, that's Favre, 61,655. The most touchdowns as a Green Bay Packer quarterback goes to Aaron Rodgers at 475. The most games goes to Brett Favre, 255, to Aaron Rodgers is 230. And I think the most important thing, because let's face it, wins are the most important thing. I don't care what your stats are. If you don't win, you're not going to be looked at as the greatest ever. So Brett Favre has 160 wins, and Aaron Rodgers only has 147 wins. You said that you thought Aaron Rodgers is the best Packers quarterback. Why do you have that opinion, being a big Packers fan like you are?
In his prime, I mean, there are some seasons where he basically, they were winning 13 games, and he was just carrying them, putting the ball in the guy's hands, doing whatever. He's just so accurate, and he's such a technician. I think the top 6, I wish I had the stat. I wish I'd sent it to you. I can look it up, but the top 6 touchdown to interception ratios in NFL history, top seasons for a quarterback ever, are all Aaron Rodgers, minimum 500 attempts. He's the top 6 ever. He has 6 seasons. Touchdown. He had like 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Like, he had so many seasons like that. He's just so good. And even to his career, he didn't have great receivers minus Devontae Adams. So I just think, okay, well, one more stat. You love stats. Do you realize that Aaron Rodgers played with 1 top 12 defense in his career? 1. And then guess what that happened that year? They won the Super Bowl. 1. Jordan Love's already played with the top 12 defense. That was last year. He played with the top 6 defense. He never played the great defense. And Mike McCarthy was a horrible coach. Was out coaching the postseason all the time. Cost them Super Bowls. So I think if Aaron Rodgers played with a really good coach and had better defenses, he'd have 3, 4, I mean, like at least 3 Super Bowls. He was that good in his prime.
All right. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're gonna wrap this up because I want to do our Truth Top 10 here. I think this is a great topic. We'll talk more about quarterbacks, I'm sure, as the season wears on. This is only week 1, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to jump into, oh, and by the way, thanks for making this so popular that people have to troll us and put stupid crap in the comments, and I have to ban you. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right.
Are we going to do the results of the poll?
Oh, you know what? Yes, we need to. Let me go back over to the other.
Because last I checked,
more people have voted since we started talking about it.
Okay.
All right. So Bart Starr is in 3rd place right at the moment at 21.4%. Aaron Rodgers is not that far ahead of him at 28.6%. And that means that people think Brett Favre. 50% of our voters, 50% of our voters are saying that Brett Favre is the greatest Packers quarterback of all time.
I voted for Aaron Rodgers. Who'd you vote for?
Who did I vote for? I don't. Bart Starr. I don't really like either one of them. So.
Well, I mean, if
you know what? No,
there are reasons not to like Brett Favre. I get that.
Jordan Love. That's who I voted for. Jordan Love.
I voted for Lynn Dickey, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Didn't your coach quarterback for a little bit too?
Do we think Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl if Brett Favre wasn't there beforehand? No, I think it was very beneficial for Aaron Rodgers to sit for 3 years. I think he came in when Brett Favre got hurt against the Cowboys in year 3 and looked good. But I think sitting at least 2 years was very beneficial. So I still think early on it was better to have Brett Favre. That's a good question, though. Brett Favre is very good. Don't get me wrong. Brett Favre could do things that most quarterbacks can't. Don't get me wrong. He just took too many chances, made a lot of mistakes, and Aaron Rodgers was not like that. He did not make the mistakes, and that's why I think Aaron's better. Bart Starr was amazing, won multiple championships, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 1 and 2. So, they're all great. So I get clicking on any of them. I just a little surprised Aaron Rodgers didn't win the Bowl.
Wait. Where do you get this one?
No, I haven't turned my back on him. He's great. He's amazing. When I was a little kid, Reggie White was almost my favorite player. But I still love Brett Favre. Of course, I loved him growing up as a kid. So, no, we have not turned our back on any of them. Trust me, Packer fans did not turn. Do you know how much hate mail the Packers got when they traded Brett Favre and went with Aaron Rodgers? The hate mail did not stop. So they never turned their back on any of them. They were traded. They did not leave willingly. Both of them were traded.
Does this bother you that Aaron Rodgers, neither one of them were going to retire as a Packer? Does that bother you as a Packers fan that neither one of them are?
It bothered me with Brett Favre. It bothered me what Brett Favre did, to be honest with you. Didn't with Aaron Rodgers because they had Jordan Love, and I'd been through it, and I get it. And I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers mutually decided that he was going to the Jets. They both knew he's just going to go to the Jets. But the Brett Favre thing did bother me at the time.
So if Jordan Love has a similar Packers career and he retires as a Packer, do you think he'll be the most beloved Packer quarterback of all time? Will he surpass Favre and Rodgers if he has a similar career and he retires as a Packer?
You know what? Yeah. He's just very well liked. He's a good dude. The players love him. Coaches love him. Do I think he'll be as good as Favre or Rodgers? No, because come on. But he's got all the talent in the world. I hope he is. And but if he wins three Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVP, at least 2 Super Bowl MVPs of those 3. Yeah, it's possible.
So I'm going to say this. Don't be horrible. Don't be a stranger. Keep coming back to us. Comment with us. We love the fact that all of our fans want to do that. Let's go into our Truth Top 10. Let's do a little bit of music for it. Here we go. All right, so I'll start this thing off because I'm going to start it off with someone you're pretty familiar with. My number 10 is Craig Counsell of the Chicago Cubs. Who's your number 10, Cheese?
So we're doing the top 10 managers right now because this topic, it could change year to year. It really can change. Derek Shelton of the Pirates, maybe if we did this last year, might have been in our top 10. He got fired quickly. So he's technically not managing, but I count him anyway. I just love him to death. Ron Washington, Angels. He's going to leave absence, hopes to manage again, but he was a great manager of the Rangers. So technically he's still the manager, so I'm going to say him. More on Craig Cancel in a bit, but I'm going to say Ron Washington of the Angels.
All right, so it sounds like you're Bill Belichick in this list here. You're cheating. Number 9.
Hey, don't knock the Ron. You love Ron. Who doesn't love Ron Washington?
I do like Ron a lot, and I think he is a good manager. Okay, I'll let it slide. All right, I'll let it slide.
Okay.
For me, number 9 is I'm not being a homer here whatsoever, but number 9 for me is going to be Torey Lovullo, and I'll tell you why. Torey Lovullo has these Diamondbacks primed and ready to go, and they traded 4 or 5 of their really good players, and they replaced them with young people. Now, Torey Lovullo has a very specific niche of a managerial style, and he can seem to get a lot out of young people, but he just can't seem to work with superstars for some reason. So as soon as this team got young and he had a bunch of aggressive kids, he was able to get every drop out of them, and they're still in the wild card.
Took him to a World Series. It took him to a World Series.
He absolutely did. Okay, so my number 9 is Torey Lovullo, and number 10 for me was Craig Counsell. Who is your number 9 Cheese?
If I had 11, I would have put Torey Lovullo. I just, obviously not going great this year. My number 9 is Matt Quattaro. I don't even know if I said that right. Kansas City Royals. The Royals, I'm just looking at the roster. It's not that good, but they've been in it the last 2 years. You got to give him credit. First year didn't go well, but he's turned it around there. Did I even say that name right? You know baseball more than me.
It's okay.
But I think he's done a good job, and no one talks about him. So he's my number 9, Matt.
He would have been my number 11. I almost put him in front of Craig Counsell, to be very honest with you. And
probably should have.
Probably should have. I thought about it. I really did. I struggled over it because especially right now, I don't know if you know this, but their 4 starting pitchers are all injured. He is going with a mash unit of starting pitchers, and they're still in the wild card hunt.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to be for very much longer because he just can't do it with what he's got. But, man, I'll give him all kinds of credit for
Quattaro.
Yeah, Quattaro.
Okay.
Yes. So for me, Craig Counsell, 10. Torey Lovullo, 9. Number 8, Cincinnati Reds manager, Terry Francona. Again, I went in the bottom part of this list, I went with these teams that haven't been in the postseason for a while, and now they're still in it. Now, I don't think they're going to make the postseason, but I'll give him credit for improving the team and at least giving us some hope. And that's what Terry Francona has done for the Reds this season.
Once again, I got more on him coming up. I have him higher, just like Counsell. My number 8 is Kevin Cash of the Rays. No one talks about him, but he's just good. I don't know if he's great, but the Rays are always kind of in it. They have a low payroll, and he's solid to me. I think he's pretty good. So Kevin Cash is my number 8.
Interesting. I didn't have him in my top 10. Very interesting.
Okay. So we're going to have some different ones then.
Yes, we are.
Sure.
We are.
You're going to have some that I don't have, I think. Okay. But you know baseball more than me.
Because I got Lovullo, and I don't know about number 7 here. I wrestled with this one too, as far as where to put him, because I loved this guy before he became the manager of this particular baseball franchise. But I think he's handled the media really well. I think he's handled being with superstars really well. And he used to play for the Cincinnati Reds. Aaron Boone is my number 7. I remember when he got hired as the Yankees manager, and I threw stuff to the television because I can't stand the Yankees and I love my Reds. But he ended up becoming a really good manager. In fact, I was kind of clamoring for him to take over the Reds this year when they went out and got Terry Francona. So I put him one spot up on Francona on my list of the top 2 major baseball managers right now, and that is Aaron Boone at number 7. Keys, who's your number 7 guy?
I get why you had him. I didn't. I couldn't put him on there with the Yankees.
I honestly, I couldn't leave him off the list. I tried.
I couldn't put him on the list. Please tell me you don't have Brian Snitker on your list. Please.
No, I do not.
Oh, thank God. Oh god, that would be a disaster. No, if we do bottom 10, then Brian Snickard is in there.
Yeah.
My number 7 is Craig Counsell of the Cubs. I don't think he's as good as some people, when they signed him away from the Brewers, acted like he's one of the best managers in baseball. I mean, he's good. I don't think he's one of the best. Obviously, I put him 7, so he's not a top 5 manager, but he's still better than most. But yeah, Craig Counsell, number 7.
All right. So that means I'm going with number 6. And again, a guy that I had to put up here because he's got this team. I mean, this is the epitome of a streaky team. And now all of a sudden they're streaking again. And they are actually in the best position to overtake the Mets for the 3rd wild card. I mean, they just came out of nowhere all of a sudden again. San Francisco Giants manager Bob Melvin for me is number 6.
So I also have Bob Melvin, number 6. He's had success at multiple places. It's hard to argue against. Look, I just looked at his record. I'm like, he's been good. He's been manager the year before. Yeah, I agree. Number 6, Bob Melvin.
All right. So my bottom 5 would be Counsell, Lovello, Francona, Boone, Melvin at number 6, and at number 5, this is the first team that is high up in the baseball playoffs this year with a manager. And for me, I still hold a little bit of a grudge on him from what he did in Houston. So this is why I put him at 5. A.J. Hinch of the Detroit Tigers is at number 5 as far as Major League Baseball managers right now.
Okay. I have at 10 Ron Washington, the Angels, 9 Matt Quatraro of the Royals, 8 Kevin Cash of the Rays, 7 Craig Counsell Cubs, 6 Bob Melvin Giants. Number 5, I have Terry Francona. A little surprised you didn't have him higher. He's had a lot of success. Won World Series with the Red Sox. And with the Indians, I mean, they were always good when he was there. So, yeah, Terry Francona is my number 5.
All right. So I picked this guy because I thought he got a really raw deal in St. Louis. He went to the Padres, and now he is commanding this club really, really well. In fact, I would love to get some people's thoughts that are in St. Louis and are St. Louis fans to see if they would be really, really upset at their Cardinals for letting this guy go. And that's Mike Schlitt with the San Diego Padres. He is my number 4.
Yeah, I just couldn't put him. I still think the Padres should be better than they are. So I just couldn't put him, but I considered him. My number 4 is Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers. When Craig Counsell left, it was a shock, and Brewers fans were livid. I went on Brewers Twitter, and they were so mad. And a lot of Cubs fans were like, "Oh, bring Pat Murphy over, the bench coach. He's great. Bring him over as the bench coach." And Brewers like, "Not so fast. No." I think he's done an excellent job. I think he's hilarious. The pancake and the pocket thing is great. He's great for the locker room. The only reason I didn't put him higher is because he's only been a manager. It's only his 2nd year. But yeah, Pat Murphy, Brewers, number 4.
All right. So let me give you everything that leads up to my top 3. So we got Counsell at 10, Lovello at 9, Francona is 8, Aaron Boone is at number 7, Bob Melvin is at 6 for me, A.J. Hinch and Mike Schlitt were 5 and 4. Number 3, somebody who I think you're going to have at the top of your list as well. I put him at 3, the Cleveland Guardians manager, Stephen Vogt.
Okay. My number 3 is Dave Martinez of the Nationals. Obviously, the Nationals haven't been good last couple. What?
Formerly of the Nationals?
Formerly the Nationals. Yep.
You have a
Dave
fired
Martinez
manager as your number 3.
I wanted to put him higher. Yep.
You got some explaining to do, sir. Go ahead.
Dude, this guy won a World Series. He's great. He was a great bench coach for the Cubs. It's not his fault. Nothing that they don't have a roster. They don't have talent. And this is my wild card. I was throwing it in there. Dave Martinez, he's going to be sought after he will get a job right away. 5 or 6 teams are going to offer him the job. He's my number 3. I wanted to put him lower, but I couldn't. I had another fired manager in here, and I took him off.
Okay.
Brandon Hyde for the Orioles was on this list too, but
Technically, you had
I had to
another
put Ron Washington on.
in there. I mean, technically,
What?
two of your 10 are not currently managing, but well, your number 10
Brandon
guy,
Hyde
Ron
was on this
Washington.
list. Brandon Hyde, the Orioles, was on this list, but he got fired as well. But so I bumped Brandon Hyde.
I wish my thing worked for my shotgun over here. I'd shoot you right now.
Hey,
Number 2 for me,
it's not their fault if the roster sucks.
you can't have a fired manager on your top 10 managers right now. All
All right,
to it.
fine. It's fine. Stephen Vogt, number 3, Cleveland. Because I didn't even think about him, so I didn't put him in my top 10. I never even thought about him.
Number 2, a team that I believe won again tonight. And man, they're doing it with a mash unit. Half their roster is on the disabled list, a lot like what the Diamondbacks roster is. But yet, this old guy has still got everybody buying in. Texas Rangers manager Bruce Bochy is my number 2 guy.
More on him in a second. You mentioned AJ Hinch. I have him at number 2. I think he's done a great job with the Tigers. They sold the deadline, still made the postseason last year. He's done a great job this year. I have him number 2 on my list.
All right. Now, you've already mentioned my number 1 guy, and this was a no-brainer for me. He has a team that basically very few people can give me the top 9 players or the starting 9 for that team, yet they have the best record in Major League Baseball. The only knock that I've got with this team and with this coach, and if you're saying to me, hey, it's not his fault if they don't have a great team, then I don't understand why the Milwaukee Brewers don't go out and buy some other people. I don't understand why, and we talked about this at the trade deadline, I don't understand why they don't go get a few more players every trade deadline and add to this team and win pennants every year. Because I believe with Pat Murphy at the helm, they could. I love Pat Murphy. I didn't know who Pat Murphy was until Craig Campbell left.
Pancake.
And
you know the pancake pocket? Do you know about the pancakes in his pocket?
I do not. Tell me about it. What's wrong with it?
Look it up. He keeps pancakes in his pockets and eats it. Like pancakes, so it's cold pancakes. He keeps it in his pocket and then just eats it during the game. And he gave it to the reporter of the Brewers, and she's like, okay. And she ate it too.
I saw that part.
Yeah,
when they were talking the other night. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know what it was. I just kind of laughed and giggled about it and went on with my life.
3 or 4 years from now, I might put him number 1. I couldn't put him higher than 4 just because it's small sample size. So let me go over my top 10. Number 10 were Washington Angels, Matt Quatraro, Royals. Number 9. Number 8 is Kevin Cash, Rays. Number 7, Craig Counsell, Cubs. 6, I have Bob Melvin, Giants. 5, Terry Francona, Reds. Pat Murphy, Brewers. Number 4. Number 3, Stephen Vogt, Indians. Yes, I changed it. Number 2, AJ Hinch, Tigers. And number 1, I have Bruce Bochy. How could I not put Bruce Bochy number 1? He's won so many World Series. He's so good with the Giants. He used to win like every other year. Won a World Series, the Rangers. How can you not put Bruce Bochy number 1? He's just a likable dude. I always liked him, and he's just a great manager. So that is my number 1.
All right. I like the list. I like doing this. I love this top 10 thing. We are almost 3 hours in. What cup do you have today, sir? Spidey again.
Spider-Man Brave New World comes out next year. I don't think you're a big movie guy, are you? You're probably not all excited.
I'm not a big comic book guy. I do some bang bang shoot 'em up, and my wife loves comedy, so of course I go see what she wants to go see. But I'm more of a homebody. I'll stay here and wait for it to come out, and where I can buy it and just watch it at my house instead of going to the theaters. So.
Gotcha. Oh, wait. We have breaking news.
What is it?
We have a waiver claim in baseball. The Braves have claimed Julio Franco, 67 years old. They've claimed him on waivers. Oh, my God. Another waiver claim of the Braves. Julio Franco No, he rejected it. They tried to claim him, but he says, I'm 67. What the bleep are you doing, Braves? Okay.
All right. Well, they did do, which I know you know, they did do Alexis Diaz earlier because we talked about it. So, yeah.
Yes. They've claimed half the league in the last month.
Yeah, they have claimed quite a bit. I will certainly give you that. Looks like my Reds are trying to beat the San Diego Padres. I'll be watching that here in just a few minutes, as soon as we are done right here with the Sports Truth. Appreciate all of you guys with us. Cheese, you got anything you want to add to the end of the broadcast, buddy? Maybe we'll just make this thing 3 hours long and be the heck with it, right?
This is the longest show we've ever done.
Yes.
I knew it was going to be long. Didn't know it would be this long, but I write articles at PackersTalk.com. I write a weekly article about the Green Bay Packers. So Packers with an S, talk.com. Check it out. You can follow me on YouTube at Football with Cheese, Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. Check out my videos. I do college football, I do NFL draft, and obviously, of course, the NFL. So check those out. I do 3 or 4 videos a week.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Well, I'll be doing some more content. And then, like I said, be watching this weekend. I'm pretty sure we're going to announce it over the weekend. I'm putting all the finishing touches on everything. We're going to join with some fantastic other gentlemen, and we are going to become a sports media outlet. But wait, it's coming. We're going to give you some hints, too. Start looking at some of the stuff that we're tagging and things that we're saying in our Twitter and things like that. You'll get the hint as far as that part goes. So,
it's happening. It's happening. Yes,
it is. We're very excited about it. All of us are. We can't wait to give you all the details. We'll be able to announce that next week right here on the Sports Truth. I want to do one last thing. For those of you who have stuck around in the end, and I know several of you have because I can see the numbers at the top of the screen. If you would like us to name this show anything, what would it be? We want to let our fans give us some insight as to what they might want us to rename the show, because we're thinking about it. We're going to discuss a little bit after the show goes off the air. But if you guys give us something that we just love, maybe we'll use it. You never know. You know?
Never know.
Michael Jordan said, you miss a shot you don't take. So take a shot and see what happens. All right, guys. Thank you all very, very much for being with us. For myself, Mike Valentine, for Football with Cheese over here in the corner. Thank you very much, and we wish you a blessed day. And of course, as we always say when we say goodbye, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base line. Good evening.